After just a 2-week break, GT World Challenge Europe, powered by AWS Sprint Cup, is back in action. We're at Magny-Cours with a night race on Saturday and a race in the Sunday sunshine. We're in the Nevers region of France. Magny-Cours, a popular venue in the history of Sprint Cup, and with 44 cars entered this weekend, it is a Sprint Cup record grid. The circuit itself has played home to international sports car racing and, of course, the French Grand Prix. It is 4.4 kilometres long, with turn 3, the SRO Grand Courbe, that long right-hander. There's the tight Adelaide hairpin, a chicane at turns 6 and 7, and again at 11 and 12. And then down to the end of the lap, you're right, right again, and flick left out of the chicane over the timing line. You divide the lap into the 3 sectors, and it's relatively a flat lap as well around here. It's got some fast sections, it's got some fiddly sections, and some big braking zones with an elevation range of just 19 metres. And so, here at Magny-Cours, we're getting ready for our first race of the weekend. We're about to get the cars unleashed then. 60 minutes are on the clock. It is race 5 of Sprint Cup. We go racing, a really good getaway by Fabian Schiller, who tries to go for a gap that soon closes. Lucas Auer manages to box him off. Gounon will take the lead. Jewis goes second. Third is Auer. Fourth is Schiller. Max Hesse drops back way up the curve there. Look goes the Ferrari to try to gain ground as they turn their way now with Thomas Neubauer around the outside of Hesse out of turn 3. He goes wide. Hesse gets back up the inside. Dienst on his toes as well. Big slide there further back. That looked like Bastien Boussy's Porsche getting all crossed up. But a great start by Jules Gounon because he's edging away on the run up towards the Adelaide hairpin, and now hard on the brakes.
Is it going to be okay? Is it Concertina's up looking in the midfield? Everyone looks okay. Some cars going to the grass. It's the optimum car, isn't it? Oliviera having to take to the grass, but so far, relatively small amounts of contact. Initially, it was a great start from Schiller in that white and red Mercedes. He had to check up in the Ferrari and the BMW still side by side. And Hesse didn't get the best getaways, trying to steady the ship as we go on board with Eddie Cheever into turn 8. This is the hairpin where you've got to rotate the car. You can see Piccarello in front in the Boutsen VDS Porsche, and at the moment everyone keeping clean, but Gounon has gone. That gap's going to be 1.2, 1.3 seconds, I would say, by the end of this opening lap.
Bit of hip and shoulder, wasn't there, I think, which forced Neubauer off the circuit. The start's under investigation as the cars make their way through then. And there's a possible fear about Luca Enschler's Lamborghini that has either got a transponder problem or it has got a problem because it's being shown as being absolutely flat last. You can see the way here they leap and bounce their way through the chicane, and that is just putting more and more stress and strain through the cars. Over the line they go. Gounon leads at the end of lap 1, and it's 1.251 seconds. You were just ever so slightly out, Joe. And as you see there, 99, which is Alex Arca being lent on by Charles Witt.
Valentino looking on as Hesse will flick through the shot now. He won't be best pleased with the start his 46 has made.
You can see Hesse having another nibble back at Neubauer, but the Ferrari able to stay ahead off the corner.
Yeah, Neubauer's getting held up by Schiller in front, isn't he? Hesse will give him another lap, and then this pressure will start to get bigger. This is where we rode on board with Hesse last time through 6-7. It's very hard to get the move done. There's a lunge here at 8, but Neubauer closes that off as we flick between the onboards, working perfectly, looking at each other. And what can this BMW do? It's so strong at the end of the straight. Neubauer kicking up the gravel. This will give some momentum to the BMW, but again, a hard corner to overtake coming into turn 9. This is getting close, and this is the frustration building on Hesse.
Nice move round the outside. Hesse goes through, rides the curb, but doesn't shortcut the racetrack. Neubauer tries to come back at him, heading now up towards Chateau d'Eau, but a curb hopping Hesse is ahead. But does he go a little bit wide? Yes, he does. The road opens up. Neubauer's going to have another go, and he's on the inside line all the way down the hill. It's going to be the last of the late breakers. It was a good opportunistic move by Hesse, but Neubauer is going to force the issue. He's back up the inside. He retakes the place, and up the inside also, look, comes Kobe Pavels. Beautifully done. 007 Aston Martin gains a place, and 1 up and 2 back for Hesse. There are your fastest drivers in each class. Overall, Jules Gounon, and he's quickest in pro. Alex Arca is the fastest man in gold. Mathis Liesmond, the fastest man in silver. And Kian Jewis, the fastest driver in bronze. In comes Lucas Auer to give way to Maro Engel. So this is the car that was in 3rd place, and that's the first significant runner, isn't it, out of that leading group in, but just look at the queue behind.
Yeah, it's going to be busy. They're right at pit exit. They're the last garage. So if the fast lane is busy, they've got to yield. You can actually see Auer changing that driver ID to 1 to 2 for Murray-Engel. Driver change going on, tyres at the same time. Auer already out of the car, finishing up with the window net. The car controller with the lollipop will be making sure they're clear to go. It's a direct race with the 46. They should win it because they had 5 seconds over him as Garage 59 finished their stop.
Indeed so. The Boots and VDS Porsches on the move in the background. Away now goes Valentino Rossi, and he's going to be able to stay ahead of the Porsche just about. So there's going to be a big shuffle of the order, but it'll start to stabilise once you get the other side of the pit window. And there is Calvin van der Linde trying to pick his way through the traffic. If you were being cautious in the first stint, then this driver cannot afford to be, because this is your only chance now with the pit stops done to gain traffic, gain position. It's got to be done on the racetrack, as you see the Boots and Porsche up the inside. And also there, van der Linde does gain a place, gets himself through on the inside of the Garage 59 McLaren. You're on board here with Louis Press, and it's all got very busy ahead of him, as there, round the outside goes Dylan Pereira in the Audi.
Yeah, I think it's Alex Archer, isn't it, in the Audi now, and it's all concentrating up because it's Dawson in front in that bronze leading car. So this is Pret again. So you've got the Audi and the Ferrari, then Dawson still in front, and they've been stuck behind him for half a lap now. He's got 2 slow cars and bodywork on the side of the track too. And
a damaged car, I think, as well. One of the Ferraris looking a bit crab-like. Michel Blanchemin is in the 26 Santilloc Audi. There's a Ferrari that's damaged, and another car. That's another Audi, isn't it? That's the Christopher Hasse Audi, with a lot of front damage and steam and smoke coming out of it.
Attention all teams, there will be full course yellow in 20 seconds.
So right now your race order is Danny Juncadella in the lead. Second is Leclerc, the gap 6.3 seconds. Nicky Thiem is third, Murray-Engel is fourth, Valentino Rossi fifth, and winner here last year sixth. Marvin Kirchhofer, as you see, an empty but smoking Audi. And this might explain who did what to which and to whom. Yeah, Michel Blanchemin gets hit really heavily by the Ferrari, and Hasse piles in. Trying to see which Ferrari it was. I think it might have been the Felix Hersiger car, number 71 or 52, arguably.
Attention all teams, full course yellow ending on short notice.
So no safety car. That is not what Thomas Neubaut nor what Arthur Leclerc needed. We're going to go racing.
3, 2, 1. Green flag, green flag.
So we're back to green flag. I've got to say that surprises me a little bit, given that it felt like a long full course yellow, but Niels Vitic, the race director, is content in these temperatures. Look, you can see there Leclerc weaving around a little bit to get the tyre temperatures and pressures back up, because they've been dropping. He's got Thiem crawling all over the back of him, and this now takes some of the pressure off Juncadella, because straight off Leclerc has to defend second place.
I'm telling you now, drivers were not ready to go back to green. They would have fully expected a safety car procedure.
As there, van der Linde absolutely sends it up the inside of Dorian Boccolacci. That's 8th overall.
As we see a battle with the Porsche and the McLaren coming into the final brake zone of the lap.
That's Ricardo Feller getting up on the inside then to go ahead of Louis Pret. Feller, in fact, has gained 2 places on that lap. Jules Gounod and Danny Juncadella are going to be victorious here at Magny-Cours. They have absolutely dominated not just the race but the day. Gounod was unstoppable in qualifying. He led all of his stint. Juncadella has led all of his. The gap came down a little bit after that full course yellow. Checkered flag at the ready. Race 1 at Magny-Cours, won by Danny Juncadella and Jules Gounod in absolutely dominant fashion. So race result, Jules Gounod and Danny Juncadella are the winners, from Thomas Neubaut and Arthur Leclerc. Kirby Pauwels and Nicky Thiem taking third ahead of Lucas Auer and Murray-Engel, then Dean McDonald and Marvin Kirchhofer, Max Hesse and Valentino Rossi in 6th. 7th, the championship leaders Charles Witz, Calvin van der Linde. 8th, the gold-winning Gio Magnus and Robin Knudsen. 15th, Mathis Lismont and Ignacio Montenegro. But ahead of them, 11th, Kian Jewis and Charles Dawson, and they won bronze. There, the drivers now all get together on the podium for that group photograph. The drivers celebrate. Danny Juncadella last with the cork, but entered into the spirit of this. Race winners, Jules Gounod and Danny Juncadella. And post-race, there was a penalty offered to Kian Jewis and Charles Dawson for speeding under the full course yellow. So bronze in the end, won by Marvin Dienst and Renat Salikov. But we're ready then for race 2. Dawson and Jewis also got a penalty today for track limit abuses in qualifying. So Charles Dawson lost his best lap time and therefore ends up at the back of the grid without a lap time to his name. They've got work to do. Mercedes-AMG ahead, but by a modest gap in the manufacturer points in GT World Challenge powered by AWS. Porsche second, Ferrari third, then BMW and Audi in fifth. And Audi's significant because we have an Audi R8 on the front row of the grid. David Anderson and Joe Osborne. Trackside, it's another hot, sunny day here at Magny-Cours. It's a very busy grid as well as the drivers get themselves prepared for this 1 hour sprint race. Pit window 25 to 35 minutes, but the entry split effectively into 2 groups and you have a 5-minute pit window. So just to alleviate some of the congestion in the pit lane. Bryn Lucas and Ganel Longy are down on the grid for us, and from Pirelli, Matteo Braga is there as well, Pirelli's Circuit Activities Manager. Let's hear from Matteo Braga and from Ganel.
I'm next to Matteo Braga, Pirelli Circuit Activity Manager. Matteo, Pirelli's been working with SRO since 2013. Can you tell us about the work you've been doing, the way this partnership has been developed through the last 13 years?
Yeah, we started our relationship with SRO in 2013. We decided to take over a challenge that was together with Stefan to develop the GT3 platforms and a format especially about tires and service and supplying of tires at the racetrack that could have been spread all around the world. And now what we can say is that after nearly 15 years, we have been able to develop our operation in Australia, in America, Asia. We are basically together with SRO in all the international championships, and we are very happy about where we are.
What are the main challenges developing one single tire, specification of tire for 3 different GT categories?
Yeah, let's say that it's not only about classes, but as well when we started to develop a product that was working both for sprint and endurance races. We use it during the day, during the night, in America, in Australia, in cold conditions as well, British GT. So at the end is a very, let's say, very wide range of use for the product, and has to adapt to all the different platforms. That is not easy as well because it has to be a very stable and reliable platform to develop the BOP. That is one of the strengths of the SRO.
Thanks a lot, Matteo. We'll see you on the podium. Thank you.
Matteo Braga from Pirelli, and as you have been hearing, it's a very global platform on which GT3 runs, and Pirelli in all of those areas that GT World operates, plus domestic championships like British GT or French GT, plus of course GT4 and GT2. So a massive operation now, Pirelli's involvement with SRO. Now let us hear from some drivers also. On the front row of the grid is 84 Audi. Christopher Hauser is going to start it. He did the time, and Simon Reicher is with Bryn Lucas.
An Audi on the front row, and an Audi that had to have some extensive work done to it yesterday after your DNF. A great performance from you guys in qualifying.
Yes, Christopher did an amazing job in the quali. Yesterday we struggled still a little bit in quali and had some problems, and then the crash in the race, so this really did put us back, but after a lot of thinking, and the guys put in a hard work, working till 3:30 in the morning, and yeah, repaired it, and now with this qualifying result, it's really great. We had already a little bit of momentum in Misano with P8, and now hopefully we can even go a little bit further this race.
Given that you had a DNF though, how did the team manage to get this car to this level where you're starting P2 on the grid with the extensive work that was done?
Yeah, there were a lot of work. The whole front was damaged, the cooling in the front was damaged, and then Attempto was so kind and lended us their bonnet, so there's also the different color here. But yeah, and it was a whole teamwork, and guys did just a great job, and so yeah.
It's a new look 84, good luck.
Thank you.
Yeah, Attempto, the rival Audi team, lending them the bonnet. Attempto's in the market for a new laptop because somebody left one on the roof of the number 99 yesterday when the car set off on the formation lap. It suddenly became the world's fastest laptop, and by turn 1 it was in fragments.
Yeah, we saw it bouncing off, didn't we, into turn 1 on that formation lap, and €2,500 fine for their troubles as well for Attempto.
Broly's up for shielding some of the heat. Let's get back down to the grid. Ganel with our goal pole winner.
I'm with our pole sitter in the gold class, Arthur Rougier, Frenchman, on pole at home. Tell us about this position on the grid. You're on pole in gold class, but also P5 on the grid.
For sure, it's a really good position to start. We have been struggling the whole weekend, and it's really nice to come back on a nice position on the grid. The team has done a great job to put the car back in the window this morning, so we'll try to finish the job during the race.
Un petit mot en français, Arthur, parce qu'évidemment vous êtes à domicile, vous signez cette pole position à domicile, 5e sur cette grille de départ. Quelles sont les ambitions pour vous? Vous me parliez du classement général il y a un instant, il n'y a pas que la classe Gold qui vous intéresse.
Évidemment, on va essayer de garder cette première position en Gold Cup, puisqu'on part en pole en Gold Cup, mais en étant 5e, on peut aussi penser au classement général, essayer de jouer potentiellement le podium ou au moins conserver notre top 5 au général, ça serait aussi vachement important pour tout le monde.
Et puis aller chercher une première victoire en Gold.
Et exactement, on va essayer de faire les deux, victoire en Gold et voir où est-ce que ça nous mène au général.
Bonne course à vous, Arthur.
Yeah, Arthur Rougier, one of the fastest of the McLarens, indeed the top 3 in gold, all McLarens, so they had a very good qualifying within the class. And there you can see the grid, many of the fans and VIPs doing their grid walk. Another car that's going to be well worth watching, an inherited pole for Nicky Thiem and Kobe Powell's, and Kobe is with Bryn Lucas.
A man who won here last year in silver, and this is Kobe Powell's as we get our shot crashed by a big crowd here. Kobe, it's amazing to see. You've stepped up to pro, you've got a car on pole. I know you've won here before in silver, not to diminish that performance, but this is a bit better, I'd say.
Yeah, for sure. Nicky has done a great lap this morning. We knew the car had it in it, but we just needed a typical Nicky lap. He gave it all, especially in the final chicane. He was very aggressive, but in the end it was enough for a pole. So yeah, super happy. It's my first overall pole position in GT World Challenge. Still a 1 hour race ahead where a lot of things can happen. We have seen already in the past, but Nicky has a lot of experience, and I'm sure he'll bring the car in a good position into the pit stop.
It's definitely teamwork. It's Nicky teamwork. Good luck to you, Kobe. Let's go to Nicky Thiem very quickly. Sorry, Nicky, can we grab you for a second? Because what a performance you put in there in qualifying earlier on, and I must say as well, yesterday, in your racecraft yesterday too.
Yeah, it's fine. Pretty happy, obviously. Still feel there's more in it, but again, with the Come To You family, Aston Martin, it's great to finally be on a pole position in the GT World Challenge Series. It doesn't happen so often, so yeah, we take it, and obviously we want to get on the higher step today. So, but completely different conditions, which should be right with some fresh air at the front.
Do you prefer these hot conditions in the car? I mean, it was hot in Spa, it was hot everywhere we've been so far this season, or do you prefer a bit of cool air going over the bonnet there?
I mean, like, you're talking to a Danish guy, so it's a little bit hot, but obviously we take it as it is. A little bit sauna club is always good. But yeah, just happy to hopefully keep some fresh air for the engine and the baby here. So we have a good power, and then obviously Kobe can do the second half.
Try and get cool. Good luck.
Thank you.
First pole for Nicky Thiem in sprint, and the first Aston Martin pole in sprint since Massano back in 2021 when Johnny Adam put the Garage 59 car onto pole position. Right, the fans are ready, and four-legged fans ready as well. The grid's starting to clear. There is the pole car then, 007. Nicky Thiem will go first. Kobe Powell's will do the second stint. The driver that starts is the driver that qualified and the driver who finished yesterday's race. We've had lots of fans here over the weekend. Long day yesterday with the GT World Challenge Europe race going into the darkness. And another driver worth keeping an eye to here, Carrera Cup France champion of years past, Dorian Boccolacci. He's with Ganel.
A lot of fans will be watching for that guy, Dorian Boccolacci, starting from P9 today. You ended up P9 yesterday, starting from P22. What can you expect from that race today? What is the aim?
Hello everyone, salut les minots, j'espère que vous allez bien. I hope you're all good. It's already unbelievable to see so many fans here, so many minots. I'm really happy to improve from yesterday. We start a bit more up in the grid. Starting from P9, everything can happen. What's important, of course, is to take a good start. It's sprint race, and you know, every position counts at the beginning. And yeah, if everything is going smooth and we have a good opportunities during the race, I think we can end up a bit more in the front. So let's see. But also the other racers are very good. So yeah, we need to do our best.
On va vous laisser dire un petit mot en français, vous l'aviez un peu fait Dorian, mais évidemment il y a beaucoup de monde qui est venu vous soutenir aujourd'hui, beaucoup de fans qui vous venaient vous demander des photos là. C'est quoi l'ambition aujourd'hui pour votre public ici? C'est la course à domicile à Magny-Cours.
Oui, bien sûr, l'objectif forcément c'est de montrer une belle course, montrer du beau pilotage et puis voilà, leur faire plaisir, et j'imagine que si je finis le plus devant possible, ils seront encore plus heureux. Donc ça va être l'objectif bien sûr, et ça me fait très plaisir de voir autant de monde sur le circuit, sur les circuits français dès que je viens. Voilà, on fait beaucoup de vidéos, on ne se rend pas forcément compte du public qu'on a à travers des nombres de vues par exemple, mais quand on les voit arriver sur le circuit et avoir le soutien qu'on a, c'est juste exceptionnel, et merci encore.
Merci Dorian, d'ailleurs on a un record de spectateurs ce week-end. Bonne course à vous.
Dorian Boccolacci, who was French Formula 4 champion, but it's largely as a GT star that he has made his name. There is a car that was fastest in qualifying. Kelvin van der Linde did the time. We thought, wow, pole position, but the car was done for overboosting, so it goes to the back of the grid, loses all of its lap times.
Yeah, exactly. So it looks like on the report that they had put the wrong barometric pressure in, so essentially the car thought it needed to put more air through the turbo than it needed, so the penalty for that is all laps deleted. So from first to 42nd, 2 cars behind were the cars that didn't set a lap time because of track limit issues. So 3 cars effectively at the back with 0 lap times from quali.
It's not an easy place at which to overtake this, so it does put 32 BMW, the championship leading car, very much on the back foot. There is the Sebastian Oegaard Kari Schreiner Audi. That's one of the Tresor Attempto cars. You can see Darren Lung's BMW just next to it. Let's go back to the grid though. Let's rejoin Guenel Longy.
A rookie starting from P2 in the silver class, Arthur Dorizon is driving at home today. A very young driver, very talented one. What is the aim today, Arthur? What is the ambition today, Arthur?
Obviously, it's to take the win, but we need to put everything together at the end to take the win. So we will do the maximum we can do, and let's see what happens.
Merci, on vous laisse vous préparer. Bonne course, Arthur.
Arthur Dorizon getting himself ready. So quick word with the young French driver who is sponsored effectively by Pierre Gasly, and Arthur Dorizon in his first year of World Challenge there, number 9 Porsche, which is going to be started by Alex Malikin. He had a pretty tough qualifying as well. His first push lap was ruined by traffic.
Yeah, it really wasn't. He'd just done a mega sector 1 and then the tyre seemed to have dropped off and he couldn't replicate that one. So that could be a car to watch going forward for Alexander Malikin.
There's the car that won gold yesterday, Gilles Magnus and Robin Knudsen. It's Robin that starts today, and that car is a little bit further down. It's fifth on the grid in gold, but keeping out of trouble on the first lap should stand it in good stead to come up the order. Those at the back, Kelvin van der Linde, Charles Dawson, Dylan Pereira, who had a brake issue. That's why he kept going off the road and losing laps of track limit abuses. Valentino Rossi there. It wasn't a mega qualifying by him. I think he was a bit frustrated.
Yeah, he looks focused, doesn't he? He was the slowest pro car on the grid. He's now the second slowest because of the sister car WRT getting penalised. So it's going to be a tough race for WRT with both the 32 and now the 46 of Rossi.
And Loris Spinelli, just going back to the grid for a moment, in number 163 Lamborghini, he has a 5-place grid drop because of now getting enough behavioural warning points to merit a penalty. So he's out of position as well. There's number 80, one at Spa in endurance, the CrowdStrike 24 Hours of Spa, one at Brands Hatch in sprint, Bastien Bus and Ricardo Feller, the 2 drivers. It starts 4th on the grid and Ricardo Feller will start the car today.
Yeah, Feller, one of those aggressive pros on the start, is always on the front foot, and expect that to be a bit of a theme inside the top 8 or 9. I can see a lot of cars there that I quite fancy for being a robust start. The one that really sticks out for me is the 96 of Niederhauser in that new Lamborghini Temeria,
which is going to start for this race 6th on the grid. Patrick Niederhauser, there it is, the Lamborghini Temerario. It has not had a really happy baptism. Whether it's being run by Rutronic or the Grasser Racing Team in Endurance, it's a very public development for the Temerario, but this is the best we've seen out of it. Niederhauser with nothing to lose, doesn't have to think about championship and points, he can just go for broke. It's going to be interesting as well to see what Christopher Hauser can do in that Audi. Despite the damage yesterday, Christopher knows that car inside out, back to front, and we know that he's fast. Whether he's as fast as Nicky Tim, we will find out. The Audi seems to have been there or thereabouts pretty much everywhere we've been, doesn't it? Whether it's that car or the Trezor or Tempto cars, they have been pretty constant under the BOP.
Yeah, that naturally aspirated V10 seems to have plenty of performance where it needs, and the BOP working well. This morning, qualifying 8 different manufacturers represented in the top 9.
Lights go green then as the cars accelerate away behind the lead car, which is the official car to take them down through the Grand Courbe of turns 1 into turn 2. Road starts to go downhill a little bit, and let's have a look at the grid. Nicky Team is on pole position. Christopher Hauser with him at the front of the grid, ahead of Marvin Kirchhofer and then Ricardo Feller. Arthur Rougier will start 5th, pole in gold. Then Patrick Niederhauser ahead of yesterday's winner, Danny Huncadea, and Arthur Leclerc, Brands Hatch winner 8th. 9th is Dorian Boccolacci, 10th Mauro Engel, ahead of Romain Andriolo and Louis Pret. They're 2nd and 3rd in gold. Then Jordan Pepper and another gold cup car, the Ferrari of Matthias Zagazzetta. Silver pole, Ignacio Montenegro, alongside yesterday's gold winner, Robin Knudsen. Montenegro won silver yesterday. Matteo Cairoli is 17th on the grid, alongside Arthur Dorisson and ahead of Ben Green. And Valentino Rossi starting 20th ahead of Aurelian Panis, winner at Misano in silver. Ariel Levy is alongside. Then it's the penalised Loris Spinelli and Mikey Porter, a winner at Brands Hatch in silver. Peter Dempsey next, first pole position for him in GT World Challenge Europe. That's bronze alongside Jamie Day, then David Pittard and Felix Hersinger. You've got Dustin Blattner starting 29th alongside Maxime Robin and ahead of the Bronze Championship leading Renat Salikov. Then it's Mark Kastelich ahead of Darren Lung, British GT champion. Alex Malikian is ahead of Jaff Machiels, and then Carrie Schreiner lines up next ahead of Marco Pulcini and Dmitry Gvatsova. Then on the 20th row, Michael Blanchemin and Gabriel Rindon. They're ahead of Marcello Tomassoni. Kelvin van der Linde, 42nd, 1 to watch. Charles Dawson, 43rd, 1 to watch. Dylan Pereira, 44th, 1 to watch. Yesterday, Dylan was racing both here and at the Nürburgring in the LNS, where he won his class and got 3rd overall. So he had a very busy time of it this weekend as the Luxembourgish driver. Had to go through Luxembourg on his way from the Nürburgring to here. But it's going to be a tough stint, this, for him, for Dawson, for van der Linde to get up through all of that traffic.
Yeah, and both Dawson and Pereira, interestingly, were done for speeding under full course yellow, weren't they? So they're both starting at the back today because of qualifying issues, but those issues seem to follow through from the race yesterday.
Yeah, Alex Archer saying we've got so much potential, but just little things keep getting in the way for us. But we'll see how today pans out for them as the cars now work their way around this 4.4 kilometre circuit, 17 corners in total. And there you can see the Boots and VDS Porsche. You look back from Danny Huncadea's Mercedes, yesterday's winning car. Behind is Dorian Boccolacci, who is aboard number 2 Porsche, and now they start to get themselves into that 2x2 side-by-side formation. Yesterday they raced under the lights into the darkness. Today it's in the bright sunshine. The whole circuit has a completely different feel, different reference points really for the drivers. And Nicky Team on pole position alongside Christopher Hauser. I don't think anybody would have given you odds on that being the front row of the grid. 1 to watch, Marvin Kirchhofer, a winner here last year. He starts 3rd on the grid in the number 59 McLaren. Ricardo Feller in the Porsche. Feller does seem to be a slightly better qualifier than Bastien Boost, certainly both here and Misano, but let's see what the Porsche can do in terms of race results as Nicky Team then in that green. Number 7, Aston Martin. Christopher Hauser in the Audi alongside, come through turn 15. And then the chicane, 16 is a right, 17 is a left. The lead car will go for the pit lane, and we are ready to go racing race 2 of the weekend in GT World Challenge Europe, powered by AWS Sprint Cup. Lights on the gantry red, they go green, it is blast off. Marvin Kirchhofer straight away is on his toes, he jumps ahead of Hauser, but was he out of position at the start? He's gone 2nd, he's got ahead of Nicky Team, but he didn't necessarily look like he was in the right line over the grid. A good move by Huncadea right round the outside there of the Ferrari, but he goes too wide, runs off the road. Back up the inside comes Mauro Engel, so Huncadea is going to lose out. Look, he's forced wide again. Through goes Mauro Engel. He's got Dorian Boccolacci going with him, so Huncadea hung out to dry here on the outside line. Behind him, you've got McLaren's going side by side as well. It is team leading Kirchhofer. Hauser 3rd.
Yeah, and Huncadea's trying to go round the outside again. You could see a great illustration between him and the yellow man filter car. The outside, the dirty line didn't offer him any grip. He sent it and it did not stick. I think Nicky Team was the car out of position. He was the car not going over the grid boxes. It made Kirchhofer look guilty, but for me, the Garage 59 McLaren was the innocent party. Nicky Team's positioning, I think, will get looked at.
Start is under investigation, but that's the norm as the cars then thread their way out of the turn 8, 180-degree hairpin. This is the climb up towards the Imola chicane, turns 11 and 12. And look at Niederhauser up alongside Feller. The Lamborghini trying to go through, but he can't do it. It's team ahead. Kirchhofer in second place. Hauser third. And then fourth is Arthur Rougier. In fifth place, Ricardo Feller. Sixth is Niederhauser. And seventh, all over the back of him, is Arthur Leclerc. Engel is eighth.
Yeah, it's all concertinaing up there, but it's been super clean so far. Just trying to keep an eye out for Kelvin van der Linde. I think he's made 6 or 7 places up so far. You can see one of the Emil Frey Ferraris, which just has not been fast for what feels like for the last 2 or 3 rounds. We're so used to them being so quick, and this year have just not got that car where they need to be.
And they've got some good drivers in it as well, the likes of Thierry Vermeulen and Ben Green and Matteo Cairoli, Constant Lapalainen in the other car. So the leaders come through at the end of lap 1. Team leading by half a second from Kirchhofer. Then it's Hauser, Rougier, Feller, Niederhauser to round out the top 6. It is Rougier leading in gold. It's Montenegro leading in silver. It's Peter Dempsey leading in bronze.
Now, I think Pittard just had a big cut of the final chicane. He's a little bit further back at the moment.
Nicky Thiem, 10-second time penalty for a jump start. So Nicky Thiem, the race leader, being given a 10-second time penalty. There he is, and right now 10 seconds would throw him right the way down to 24th place.
Yeah, he's got 3 laps to serve it. He needs to go as long as he can to try and build that 10-second gap. Interesting what happened there. Let's listen in to the 7, see if we get any insight.
We have 10-second penalty for jump start, 10-second penalty for jump start.
No reply from Nicky Thiem, who will not take kindly to that, but it's been very quickly reviewed, and for a jump start, which can also incorporate an outer position start, the penalty comes. So a 10-second time penalty added to that car. They can get rid of that on the pit stop as the cars then now come up through that Imola chicane, and Thiem has got to push and push and push and push and push. A safety car in the second stint might bring them back into the mix, but a safety car in the first stint will get everybody much closer, and that's the last thing he needs.
Yeah, I'm just amazed what a bigger mistake it was. The drivers are told you have to go over the grid boxes. They're physical white lines, and that's exactly the same as what we saw at Misano, race 1 with Valentino Rossi, wasn't it? Our pole sitter. All you've got to do is drive in a straight line and go when the lights go out, and we didn't get that from the very experienced Nicky Thiem,
who has replied to the team, but it's not necessarily a reply that sensitive ears can cope with. So let's just have a look at the start, and he's too close to the middle of the road. He's not in the grid hatchings.
To be fair, none of them are on that inside line. The boxes here are nearly, look, there you go, that's the wider boxes. He's miles away from it. Kirchhofer's skirting them. That is a really poor start from the whole inside row. Nicky Thiem has led them astray like a bad Pied Piper.
Yeah, and he was moving across all the time, wasn't he, to try to cover off the Christopher Hauser Audi. So Nicky Thiem pays the penalty for that. You can tell he's fired up because he's done the fastest lap of the race already, and he's trying to get away from Marvin Kirchhofer. So it could well be that McLaren is now in the box seat. It'll get ahead on the pit stops, as you see the Feller, Rougier, and then Niederhauser fight. This is for 4th, 5th and 6th, and we've had a change because Feller has jumped ahead now of that McLaren. So Ricardo Feller up into 4th.
Yeah, Rougier will be concentrating, of course, of the gold lead, but he's holding his own. McLaren seem to be strong, don't they, here this afternoon? Kirchhofer's going to be our race leader within the next 2 laps once Nicky Thiem serves his penalty, which is going to really drop him down, isn't it, with that 10 seconds added in the pit stop.
Yeah, I mean, he can try now to build a gap, but if he gets a safety car in this stint, then he really is going to be in strife as the cars pound up the hill, heading towards Chateau d'Eau. This is the Imola chicane. The road just sort of levels briefly, then you go through the chicane and it rises again the other side. Dustin Blattner busy battling in bronze with Darren Lung here. They turn their way through. All of that is for 32nd overall, but it is for 3rd within the Bronze Cup right now. 5 minutes down as the bronze battle plunges downhill, heading towards the Complexe du Lycée. This is turn 15, down through the gears, sharp right, and then you've got the chicane at the end of the lap.
Yeah, and Darren Lung seems to have the straight line advantage, which we expect to see in the BMW as he hustles over the curbs hard. Dustin Blattner has been in great form in the last 2 seasons in GT World Challenge, the American, one of the best bronzes out there. At the moment, they will be trying to lift their eyes forward to see if they can see Renat Salikov in the 87 car, because Peter Dempsey has made his escape in that Ziggo Sport Porsche all the way up in 20th overall.
Now, progress also. Kelvin van der Linde up into 29th from 42nd on the grid. So good progress, as you see there. Honkadea getting up the inside of Boccolacci. So the Mercedes AMG alongside the Porsche. There's more bad news for Nicky Thiem in that Marvin Kirchhofer has now done the fastest lap of the race. In other words, the gap's come down between the top 2, and Honkadea there goes ahead of Boccolacci.
Kirchhoff Adonis the first is sector 1 on the next lap as well, so the McLaren is coming alive, or is the Aston going to sleep? Let's see which way it goes. This is looking back from the number 3 Verstappen car of Juncker. He's just got past this Porsche Boccolacci. He now needs to try and get past the Mercedes in front of him of Marolengo, and you can see the gap. He's going to have to focus there to try and get that car slightly closer. Remember how quick this was in the opening stint with his teammate Jules Gounon. Gounon seems to be in some serious form, doesn't he? Coming in for the injured Chris Lullum. He's got a 100% strike rate in quali, and his pace yesterday in the race was phenomenal.
Yeah, right now, Good Day has got a lot of catching to do. This is Darren Lung getting into the back of the Dustin Blackner Ferrari. A little love tap going up to the Adelaide hairpin. Meantime, these are the lead cars over the timing line. Nicky Thiem is ahead of Marvin Kirchhoff for the gap, 9/10 of a second on that lap. Nicky Thiem takes the fastest lap of the race back. Dustin Blackner ahead of Darren Lung. They're both coming under attack, though, here from Jeff McHill's Ferrari, which gets into the BMW. Lung all over the grass. Well, he came out the right side of it, on the right angle, and it's the Ferrari that ultimately goes around in the background, and that's the car of Marco Pulcini.
Yeah, there's another red Ferrari, wasn't it? That was very messy there, and there's some big damage. Dawson. Looks like, yeah, it's Dawson's rear, but it's the front of the Porsche. So Malikin's gone in the rear of Dawson, so Dawson has got this Porsche bumper on him. Don't know what race control do about that, because it is loose bodywork, which normally would get the mechanical warning flag, but it's not his.
No, exactly. And he's hoping it's going to fall off, but it's well and truly stuck, isn't it? So Alex Malikin has, a bit like a tin can, used Charles Dawson to wipe the front of the car off, and now Dawson has got this windbreak. He's added to the weight of the car. Malikin, you can see, missing the front splitter. Let's have a look at it here. This is a separate incident. Wow, how about that? Just hooks it onto the back.
I reckon that's the towing eye of the Merc that has ripped off the bumper. This is the other bit with McHill's and Lung. It's messy. I think that's on the Ferrari. Darren was as wide as he could go, and he was wide open throttle. Then the Kessel Ferrari has to check up. I don't know if he got hit or he just spun himself, but I think they're all going to go down as racing incidents, but the Audi has damage on the front right.
It does indeed. So that's another car in trouble, limping on as you see the Dynamique Porsche trying to find a way past then. That is David Pittard being run out a little bit wide in 77 BMW. So all of a sudden there's a lot kicking off. Tell you one car that's gone tumbling down the order. Look in the background, number 10 of Robin Knutson, and we've got a car in the gravel. That is 34 Aston of Jamie Day. And if he can't drive himself out of there, it's going to be a full course yellow, I would predict.
We've had to stop saying cars get stuck in the gravel, haven't we? We've had a real good spate of cars being able to get out. I think he's okay because his left rear is on the exit curve, but he will have to try and get a gear. And the problem is when you spin, he was most probably in second gear there, and he has got away. And it's very hard to downshift when the car's stationary, but he's done a good job there. But that's unfortunate for Jamie Day. Fastest in free practice 2 earlier in the weekend.
The question, of course, is how he got there, whether he fell or whether he was pushed. So Thiem leads Kirchhoff, leads Haase, Feller 4th, Rougier 5th, Niederhauser 6th, Leclerc, Engel, Hockendayer and Boccolacci round out your top 10. And right now, the charge of number 32 BMW of Kelvin van der Linde putting him 25th. And that is Malikin's bodywork that's finally fallen off the back of Dawson's Mercedes.
It was definitely half of it. I don't know if Malikin was trying to get it back on the front, if he could ram him at the right speed and steal it back from him. We go on board with Arthur Leclerc, who was very quick at the end of the race yesterday. Very different conditions, obviously, going in tonight. Track temp now 32. We finished at 25, so these cars will be handling very different underneath these drivers than what they expected. Also today, they're the drivers starting, so they're full of fuel, around 90 to 100 kilos of fuel, whereas yesterday it would have been half of that. So although exactly the same cars, same circuit, very different conditions.
Currently on lap 6, Nicky Thiem, fastest lap of the race thus far as Leclerc tries to stay with Patrick Niederhauser's Lamborghini coming down towards turn 15. Race leader Nicky Thiem has gone through, and he's now starting to get away a little bit. 1.2 seconds the margin as Ignacio Montenegro and Matthias Agazeta battle. Remember, that BMW is leading in silver, but the Ferrari round the outside and up into 14th place. That's a Gold Cup Ferrari passing the Silver Cup leading BMW.
Great move by Zagazeta. He almost knew the silver class was more important there to the 30 BMW, the white and blue WRT car, but still a great move to send it round the outside. It was really smart, and now he's under attack from his teammate Valentino Rossi.
Yeah, Rossi having a tough race here. It won't be long, I think, before Kelvin van der Linde is making a bit more progress. He's got Ben Green ahead of him. There's Peter Dempsey leading in bronze in the Ziggo Sport Tempesta Ferrari, the Irish driver, ex-Formula Ford star in the UK and single-seater racer in America. A very shiny bronze, so he's had a sort of second coming by way of a career. And there, look up the inside to get ahead of Rossi, goes the Aurelian Panis Mercedes AMG that won in silver at Massano. Rossi struggling.
Really is, isn't it? And that gets our silver battle all together, 1, 2 and 3 just behind Rossi. Ben Green, again, this Emerald Ferrari is struggling. He's only just in front of our bronze leader here, Peter Dempsey. Of course, Peter Dempsey is a super shiny bronze with his experience, and that's why he's so strong. Let's listen in again to the 007.
Video was poor, but I confirm we have jump start penalty. We will do this during pit stop.
Nicky Tim querying the word jump, but jump start also includes out of position, and that's what he's being done for, in fact.
Yeah, exactly. It is annoying terminology. I get what Nicky's saying. He is in control. You could still do a jump start because he could nail the throttle while the lights were red, but he needs to be explained it was the position, and for sure he will watch it back, and it can only assume he's got the grid markings wrong. He's gone for the motorbike lines rather than the car lines, but this is going to get messy.
That's Van der Linde into the Ferrari of Ben Green, and the Ferrari ends up more or less in the right direction, but hemorrhaging places. So Kelvin van der Linde goes through then, still in 24th because he actually lost the place by having to avoid the spinning Ferrari. Let's have a look at super slow-mo of that. The contact's already happened, but around goes the Ferrari. Van der Linde bouncing over the curb. That's going to get looked at.
Yeah, that's going to be a penalty. I think 10 seconds or a drive through there for the BMW. Ben Green turned in as he was right to do. I wonder if something else had happened in the lap, because that looked up like, to me, some pent-up frustration, and Van der Linde decided he wanted to give something there to the 69 Ferrari.
And Jamie Day is being looked at for an incident involving Robin Knudsen, so that kind of answers maybe how Jamie Day got to the gravel at turn 13. Now, Ricardo Feller is going after Christopher Haase, isn't he, for third place. The top two getting away, but that Porsche now starting to creep into the mix. Let's have another look from the outside. Van der Linde to the inside.
Yeah, there's going to be an argument that he was alongside, but it's just not an overtaking spot. You need to be fully alongside for that to be a move that isn't going to attract a penalty.
And there's a move coming up here because Ricardo Feller in the Porsche lining up to try to make a lunge against Christopher Haase. Down they come towards turn 15. This is for third place, remember, Audi versus Porsche. Ricardo Feller, a previous Sprint Cup champion as an Audi driver, and right now the Lion Speed GP entry there bounces over the curb all over the tail of the Audi R8 of Christopher Haase, who has to go defensive as they come over the line. They're losing touch with the top two as they hold one another up by squabbling. Feller thinks about the outside line into the Grand Courbe of turns 1 and 2, can't do it, and he's right on the back of the Audi now. He's got the long drag up towards the hairpin at turn 5.
Yeah, he's done a really good job there, Feller, manipulating the line, keeping some clean air on the nose of that Porsche, running slightly deeper through turn 3 so he can try to get the slingshot down this back straight, but the Audi so quick in a straight line. This is going to have to be a big lunge. This is our best overtaking spot of the lap, and Haase knows it. He just defends the middle of the road, just trying to back the Porsche up. Potentially now the McLaren of Arthur Rouget, the 111 CSA McLaren, is going to get in this mix too.
More bodywork lying on the outside of the Adelaide hairpin. Looks like a dynamic GT Porsche, a bit of bodywork as Haase comes through the turn 6-7 sequence, and Feller has a massive bounce over the curb that completely throws him off the road at 7.
They tried to turn in early there, again maybe just trying to keep some clean air on the front of his car so he doesn't get any understeer from the dirty air from Haase, but that was a big hit and a big landing, potentially some damage to the flooring on the Porsche, which we know is very sensitive to it. So you're going to see it turning too early here and smash this huge orange sausage curb on the inside, launches the car, and that secondary hit there, and he'll get a track limit warning as well for cutting the inside of T7.
Meanwhile, this is Feller's view, and he's getting a bit frustrated staring at the back of the Haase Audi. Christopher may not have the fastest car in the race, but he's defending well, as he's perfectly entitled to do. Down towards turn 15, they come down this hill towards the sharp right, then a very, very short burst of acceleration before the 16-17 chicane, and then over the line. Look how close Rougier is getting ahead of Niederhauser and then Leclerc. Mauro Engel is a rather distant 8th. That Mount Filter Mercedes not really coming alive. Indeed, none of the Mercedes AMGs are really sparkling today.
Yeah, it's a different day, isn't it? I said about different conditions, as we've got a very slow Lamborghini Temero there. Is that going to get, is it going to get back to pit lane? It's
Race control to all teams. We have a slow car going down between turn 13 and 14 on driver's right. This car is covered by white flags. Please warn all the drivers. Slow car now entering turn 14, going down to turn 15 on driver's right.
And contact with Peter Dempsey, so that might well have been the trigger for it. Spinelli limps on.
Didn't seem enough there. It was super aggressive from Dempsey, just banging into the side of Spinelli, and I can't see any obvious damage, but just seems to have no drive, and I think that's gravity making it go down the hill there into 15.
So he wants to try to limp into the pit lane if he can, as there.
Just for info, slow car is now going around turn 15.
Round the outside goes Boccolacci on Huncadea, but Danny Huncadea stays ahead as they make the climb back up towards Imola. And then behind the pair of them in 11th place, Jordan Pepper. Aggressive racing that by Boccolacci and
Slow
Huncadea.
car is in the pit entry now, track is clear.
Yeah, that was a super move from Boccolacci, get down the inside at C6. That's what we saw the other Porsche of Feller trying. So maybe that's the Porsche's strength, is the run out of 5. Of course, the traction in the Porsche is so good with where the engine is slung in the rear bumper, and turn 5 is our biggest traction zone. It's the slowest corner of the year for GT World Challenge. Some cars all the way down to 52 kilometers an hour there.
So Lawrence Spinelli, as you've heard, has made it to the pit lane as Huncadea, then Boccolacci, then Jordan Pepper come through. So Mercedes, AMG, Porsche, BMW out of the chicane. They flick, they bounce over the curb, and Marvin Kirchhofer has done another fastest lap of the race, and he's still within 11 tenths of Nicky Team. So it's going to really drop the Aston to the bottom end of the top 10 when we get to the pit stops, if the gaps stay as they are now. We're not at that pit window yet, of course.
Nicky Team's best friend is going to be Christopher Hasse at the moment, isn't it? Hasse's holding everyone up, and that's where the 10 seconds is going to go. And look, these are the cars I'm talking about. So at the moment, Nicky Team would drop in just behind that Ferrari. He'd be in between this Mercedes and that red Ferrari. So he would just about stay inside the top 10, like you said, David.
There is 31, that's Jordan Pepper going out of the Adelaide hairpin. So that's the top 11 in a line, all covered. Pepper going after Boccolacci, who's dropped back a bit this lap from Huncadea, and drama at the top of the shot. Somebody, I think, has gone very deep. Yeah, look, there's a yellow flag at the Adelaide hairpin. So somebody has had a moment.
I think it's Van der Linde again.
There it is, and he's got damage, look, by the front left corner. Yeah. So Kelvin van der Linde, I think, may have hit somebody, and van der Linde, championship leader, out of the race. The car is parked on the cut through. Let's have a look. Dempsey again.
Dempsey has got the sharpest elbows, doesn't he? Doesn't care who it is, Van der Linde or Spinelli. He's going to have it back. I don't think he's going to get a penalty for it, but he was moving back to the racing line under braking, so it's something race control will look at. They'll also look at, is this car in a safe enough place to recover under local yellows?
That's great news for Danny Huncadea, because depending on what Jules Gounon can do in the second
Attention
stint,
all teams, there will be full course yellow in 20 seconds.
Niels Vitic, the race director, advising of the full course yellow that is about to come.
Yeah, this has got a good chance of being a short
10 seconds.
So no overtaking from this point, and all cars must be at 80 when he gets to 0.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Full course yellow, full course yellow.
And Nicky Team hoping that it is only a full course yellow, because the safety car now near the pit window, bunching everybody up behind him, is very bad news. So Nicky Team wants this to be, like last night, a full course yellow back to green, doesn't he?
Yeah, he really does. That would save their race. And I was just watching Peter Dempsey's onboard, which is available to view on GT World's YouTube stream, and it actually looked very innocent from his onboard, so I think he'll be okay here. It's just this out one makes it look like he comes over, but actually Van der Linde, I think, is the one that's changing the angle. And surprising how weak the front suspension was on that front right. It just peeled away the track rod, and it's got no steering connecting the wheel to that front right.
So Marshall's clearing up Porsche bodywork, and there is 93 that's made a pit stop, back out again, and it's got a buckled wheel as a legacy of the contact. So it's certainly hurt Dempsey, because he now drops a long way back within bronze, but at least the car is not only still in the race but on the lead lap still.
Yeah, they were lucky that the full course yellow was out for them as Van der Linde trudges away. Largest championship lead we've seen in GT World Challenge, and that will now start to worry them. I don't think they were going to score points today, and I think Van der Linde knew that. Yeah. So every move had to be aggressive, and it's hurt him ultimately.
It's a very WRT-like weekend, isn't it? Being excluded and having incidents like that from your star drivers in very much the star car. Getting another replay of that Dempsey and Spinelli issue. Dempsey got away with that, but it didn't help Spinelli at all. And Jeff Mackiels, number 52 Ferrari, that we saw getting involved with Darren Lung, he's being given a 10-second time penalty for causing a collision.
Yeah, I think I agree with that one as well. So Dempsey's done both fronts, hasn't he? The right and the left. I assume the puncher was the front right, because that was the latest contact with this car. And yeah, that car is going no further. This championship is coming back on song pretty quickly after this weekend.
Yeah, having talked about that big gap within the championship, it's going to be a very interesting championship situation post-race. This is the Mackiels-Lung incident that's given Mackiels that penalty.
Yeah, like I said at the time, Darren Lung couldn't have been any wider. Magny-Cours was the car doing the move and just mistimed it and then caused the spin for the Kessel Ferrari behind as well to boot.
So the car's under full course yellow, currently working lap 13. The leader has gone over the line. And now Nicky Team has a 4.8 second cushion.
Full course yellow ending on short notice.
So we're going to get back to green flag conditions rather than a safety car, which is good news. And it's going to be
5,
imminent.
4,
you can see the circuit
3,
performance indicator
2,
of the green flag is ready.
1. Green flag, green flag.
Back racing then here at Magny-Cours. Nicky Team leads Marvin Kirchhofer, and this is the battle for third place. Christopher Haase ahead of Ricardo Fellow as they dive now through turn 1 and 2. Porsche all over the Audi.
Yeah, what's he going to be able to do? Like I said, the Porsche team's strongest out of turn 5. So they've got this long back straight now, a huge snap of oversteer, and we go on board. You can see how hard he's working. That is probably the dirty air I was talking about. We just lose 20-30% of the downforce, and then you've got to work hard. The Audi's just got enough as we've got a spinning Aston into the turn 15.
We have it, it's 35, Maxime Robin, and that is not the place he wants to be, and there are cars scattering every which way to avoid him. So that's going to be a yellow flag as the bronze Ferrari there goes through. That is Dustin Blattner in the car that he shares with Dennis Marshall, and the next wave of cars includes Ben Green, and they're the recovering Darren Lung.
Yeah, so Blattner's now leading the bronze class. He was behind this Mercedes, though. I haven't seen where that happened on track as the battle's now raging on all the way.
Bit of hip and shoulder there. The two McLarens getting themselves together. Louis Pret all over the Romain Andriolo car as they head now through the turn 6-7 sequence. The Dempsey Van der Linde incident is also being looked at. No surprise there. And a big bit drama for Blattner, who's got front damage and he's away through the gravel. And he may even have joined and hit the parked BMW, but that's up at the Adelaide hairpin, and either there was contact and or a brake failure.
But when we saw that car less than 20 seconds, he had no one near him in front, so that, I think your brake
Attention
failure.
all teams, full course yellow in 20 seconds.
So big scare for Dustin Blattner. We'll get to the bottom of it. Full course yellow is coming again, as you've heard from Niels Vitic, the race director.
10 seconds.
10-second count. Still Haase is ahead of
5,
Fellow. Let's go to the
4,
full course yellow. It's
3, 2, 1. Full course yellow, full course yellow.
Right, so it's all up at turn 5, and Dustin Blattner cleared the gravel. It looked like there was damage on the front, but I think also he either got very close to, or maybe even connected
Race control
with the
to all teams. Just for info, the pit window has been postponed.
Behind
pit
the
window
car
postponed.
in front. So pit window's been postponed. That's a wise move because it could have opened in 90 seconds from now and it would have caused chaos. So now the teams have to wait. Dean McDonald looks on because he will be the race leader if their pit stop goes well, handing over Kirchhofer to himself. He decided not to be ready because he could be in the car in 6 minutes. He's obviously confident he can get all his gear on in good, timely manner. But look at all that bodywork.
Yeah, and that's from a Ferrari. And it's been off the road, hasn't it, on the right-hand side, the inside of the racetrack, look. So there's been contact coming up the straight. Presumably the Ferraris hit the barrier and then bounced across the gravel. This could take quite a while because you need to clear the circuit of debris. And looking at the barrier, yeah, there's witness marks there as well. So somehow I think Dustin Blattner has been edged towards the wall and then bounced off it and then through the gravel. But that's where the damage to the Ferrari has come. You can see blue bits of bodywork lying on the ground. So a big, big moment. That puts the bronze leadership back to Rinat Salikov ahead of Darren Lung and then Peter Dempsey, despite his pit stop, in third place.
No one wants to lead that bronze class at the moment, do they?
No.
We've had a huge turnover with leaders already in this opening stint.
Oliver Söderström getting ready, Dean McDonald getting ready as well, even though the pit window is postponed because of the fact we're under full course yellow conditions. The drivers getting themselves ready, but there are big chunks of bodywork there, and it's what's in and amongst all of that grass and gravel that's been dragged onto the racetrack, any shards of metal that might want clearing as well. So it would be no surprise if this were a safety car period, because if you've got them in one line, that does give the marshals periods of clear track space to work, doesn't it?
Yeah, we did say that yesterday, didn't we? And we went straight back to green, but yeah, this one.
Red flag. Red
Race
flag.
control to all teams. Red flag. Red flag. All cars will return to the fast lane and will line up at the pit exit. All cars will return to the fast lane and will line up at the pit exit light.
So the red flag to allow the track to be cleared of the debris. And then the cars will resume behind the safety car, and Kobe Powells knows that that gap has just disappeared because 2.5 seconds will now be about 2.5 inches once Kirchhofer rejoins the other side of this red flag, because they'll be nose to tail. So the error by Nicky Tim becoming ever more costly, but the race being suspended so the track can be cleared.
Yeah, so some big winners really are the number 3 Verstappen car for me, because that had a big gap to the yellow Mercedes you can see in shot here. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see what race control do with the pit window now as well, because we're going to always...
just again, race control to all teams. All cars have to stop in the fast lane. Once all cars are stationary, there's parc fermé for all cars. Drivers are allowed to exit the car and seek cover from the sun. You're allowed to put sun protection on the car, sun covers, but other than that, it's parc fermé for all cars.
Every question you had answered there by Niels Vitic in one sentence. So it will be a safety car resumption to the race. The drivers, as you've been hearing, are allowed out to get some fresh air rather than sitting there in the sauna. And all of this is to try to clear the circuit up at the Adelaide hairpin. But we're trying to get to the bottom of whether Dustin Blattner had that drama on his own or with any help.
Yeah, and just you're looking at the gaps. Maybe it was the Salikov Mercedes behind that was trying to get the move done on him. Dean McDonald still looking confused with life. I think
take his helmet off.
Yeah, Coach I need to let him know what's going on. And drivers looking at the front of their car. Is there any damage on the front, or are they A-OK? And there's a lot of cars with a lot of damage, and this car is one of the lucky ones.
Just another information from race control. We have to recover the car after the impact in turn 5. Additional repair work is necessary for the tire barriers. As soon as I know any estimated restart time, I will keep you posted. And once that will happen, we will drop the parc fermé. But other than that, all cars under parc fermé so far.
So it's all up at the Adelaide hairpin. We'd seen the debris on the road. And the field then now.
And again, the additional information, the drivers are allowed to exit the car. Drivers are allowed to exit the cars and go into the shades. And teams are allowed to put sun protection, sun cover on the cars.
Sun protection being a foil blanket, not sun cream, of course, just to try and stop the cars radiating heat. We are now ambient at nearly 35 degrees. This is the summer that keeps giving, doesn't it? We haven't had a cold, wet, miserable GT race in what feels like forever. And these drivers will take the opportunity to get out of the car, but get some fluids on as well, and maybe even seeking a bit of air conditioning.
So the drivers clambering out of their cars in the pit lane. And let's have a look. So this is Dustin Blattner ahead of Renat Salikov. The Mercedes closes. Does it just tag the back? Well, it goes to the outside. Blattner moves across. Salikov is ahead. There's a little rub, and then there's another, and that turns the Ferrari sharp right hard into the barrier, and then it goes clattering across the gravel. So there's the big whack. That's a huge impact, because that's a concrete wall rather than a tyre wall. So big damage down to the front of Blattner, and there's no way that car's going to slow down at that point. So he goes skating across the gravel, and you see there's the Part 32 BMW. I think he's just missed that, but only just. And that is a very broken Ferrari indeed. Went into the tyres rather than the BMW, which is good news. But how much shorter is the front of that Ferrari?
Yeah, well, that's been a huge impact. Look at this chassis legs that have been twisted back. That car's a write-off. There's not going to be much salvageable from the front bulkhead forwards. Interesting one there, and that's where we picked that shot up, was where we left it. And that's why I was confused with the front damage, because no one in front. But the Ferrari just didn't get a good run. The first point of contact for me was on Blattner, and then the second point of contact for me was on Salikov, and Salikov moved over towards Blattner, and I think that's what ultimately turned him around. I think that will get investigated. Hard one to call from that angle. You're always just trying to see where the gap is diminishing from, which car, the left or the right, and ultimately the contact, I think, was on the Mercedes that sent the Ferrari into the wall.
Well, no doubt the stewards will have a look at it. Here it is again from the outside. So Salikov in the Mercedes has got the run, hasn't he?
Yeah, weirdly, Blattner just keeps it very tight on exit, and he goes to defend really early. And so now the Mercedes is okay. He's allowed to be there. I think Blattner causes that contact, but then Salikov moves back over to the right, and that just really sends the car off at a huge speed. See the Marshal taking cover. Look at the energy there, the money involved there. That's $200,000 worth of damage, I would say, on that Ferrari. But more worrying for Blattner will actually be the championship ramifications. And again, a great illustration of why we move cars behind barriers, because if the 32 had been left in what I said was a relatively safe spot, it would have been hit. And that is why racing drivers shouldn't be in charge of anything.
Christopher Haas are pretty happy still. He's in third place. And there's Ricardo Feller. They're all going for some shade, I think, although Christopher may well be able to spare us a moment or two for a word if Bryn gets to him.
Left there awkwardly, didn't it? Everyone walked off.
Yeah. There is Mauro Engel out of the car. And the red flag coming 5 minutes or so ago. That's Louis Pret, who is currently third in the Gold Cup. Weird times, though, for these drivers, because presumably they're going to have to get back in and finish their stint, which, you know, is about, in some cases, 2 minutes 56 seconds away, in others 7 minutes and 56 seconds away, but they're going to have to do at least one more lap behind a safety car for the resumption of the race, and then a couple of 3 laps, and then the pit stop. So they're not quite done yet.
Yeah, it's going to be the sprintiest sprint race ever at the end of this stint one, isn't it, for the opening drivers of this second race here at Magny-Cours.
Number 10, Porsche, that's fallen quite a long way down the order. There is Nicky Thiem, who can at least force a smile now with Marvin Kirchhofer. But if Britain's brave enough, he might go and ask Nicky about that start and what he did wrong. But how brave he is, we'll find out. He's taking his brave pills. First up, let's hear from Mauro Engel, 8th at the moment for Mauro. And it's been a tough race this far for 48. Let's try and find out why. Let's get to Bryn.
Well, heat is something we have to deal with a lot, especially this season, isn't it, Mauro? And you're used to this, but it's been a tricky weekend for you.
Yeah, challenging for sure. I haven't quite been able to match the number 3, but we've made consistent improvements, tried things, and try and make the most of it. Obviously today, as a whole, more difficult for the Mercedes AMGs. We knew that going into today, but yeah, we're hanging on and trying to do the best.
What have you been able to do to find better performance or find that improvement that you need?
It's a consistent work with the team on setup, with the 2 drivers, and just trying small things. It's obviously small margins in this championship, and yeah, credit to the 3 car yesterday. They were great, obviously, and so you know, it gave us the challenge to improve.
But you're looking at this from so many different ways. You're looking at the Sprint Cup, you're looking at the endurance as well, and overall, you're fighting for everything.
Yeah, that's the aim. That's what we're trying to do, and I think, you know, our mindset's always the same: try and maximize the points on any given day, and we're following that philosophy.
Try and stay cool.
Thank you. Cheers.
Mauro Engel also leading the Intercontinental GT Challenge, but he can't do the last 2 races of it, Suzuka nor Indianapolis, because of his DTM commitment. So there's a championship there that he leads that he knows he's very, very, very unlikely to win. Lucas Auer there having a word with him as the drone hovers over the pit lane and all the cars lined up in order. The race will resume behind the safety car when possible. There's barrier repairs as well as the Ferrari to move. And of course, Dustin Blattner will head to the medical centre just for a check-up, as happens in any incident these days, large or small.
Just looking to the grid markings there, you can see the ones on the left of the yellow line. They're the ones Nicky Thiem should have been above. I think he was over those ones in the middle, and that was just a miscommunication on his part of where he should have been. But he looked pretty relaxed, didn't he, speaking to Marvin Kirchhofer under the shade of the bridge, but is probably resigned to the fact that a good result has gone.
So let's hear from Nicky Thiem then. Bryn Lucas is with him.
You know, sometimes, Nicky, my job is to come and speak to drivers when you probably don't want to talk to me. Not that you ever really want to talk to me, it's always a chore. But can you talk us through the start and what happened there from your point of view, your perspective?
You can always come and talk with me. It's, yeah, I don't know. I never tried this in my whole life, that from pole position can make a jump start. So I actually don't know what I did wrong, but yeah, it is how it is. So
I can tell you for clarification, jump start is the phrasing they're using, but it was out of position was the actual penalty.
Okay, yeah, I just guess I didn't do my homework right then. I just saw a lot of lines down there, so I just drove where I felt I had to drive. So yeah, but that's how it is. Obviously annoying now with everything. Yeah, what can I say?
Let's look at the positives though. Pace-wise, the car definitely has it. You definitely have it. If we're going to look at try and focus on the positives of this one for you.
Yeah, it's obviously always nice to be ahead. As you know, it's much easier with some clear air, as we talked about. So I would not say that we are quicker, but yeah, we obviously have good pace and with some frustration as well. It always helps.
Nicky, thanks for chatting to us.
So now he knows. Holds his hands up. Yeah, my fault. And here it is again in replay. Look, not only is he over the wrong grid hatchings, but he's moving across the road anyway, isn't he, to block Christopher Hauser. So he was moving diagonally across the road anyway, so it's a kind of double whammy.
Yeah, the one that really won was Kirchhoffer, because Hauser got compromised by the illegal starter team. He was able to claim second, and that would have been interesting if he couldn't have got past Hauser, because Hauser hasn't had the pace, had he? And this really does give it to Garage 59 on a plate.
Does indeed right now. So Marvin Kirchhoff are looking for 2 Magny-Cours wins back-to-back, winner here last year. And I still think the Ricardo Feller-Bastian Bus Porsche is going to be one to watch, because with all due deference to Simon Riker, who will take over from Christopher Hauser, his pace isn't normally that good. So that's a car that may well drop back, and I think that Porsche is going to make some progress. Now, what about the thoughts of Marvin Kirchhoff? Well, he's second. Not only that, he's with Bryn.
Something you won't be able to tell from the commentary boxes is there's a fly infestation down here, and it's something we're having to avoid a bit, Marvin. For yourself, you had to avoid following the line Nicky team took at the start of the race.
Yeah, almost trapped myself because usually you just follow the pole sitter, but then realized he was out of position, so I quickly moved to the left just to be legal on that. Had a good start, followed him, could get by Hasi into turn 1. And then it was a pretty much him and me in the front. Car felt really good. Right now I just hope that obviously the driver who had the accident is all right. And then we'll see when we are able to restart.
Let's talk about the progress in this car, because this had to have a major rebuild. New chassis, in fact, after Monza, the massive hit at Monza. It's been a tricky job to get this to where it currently is for the entire team, really.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we had a really strong car coming into Monza, and as everyone knows, we were involved in that quite heavy shunt at the start. Had to rebuild a brand new car for Spa for the 24-hour race. Unfortunately, found ourselves with some issues on the car throughout the last couple of race weekends. We're getting there step by step. We still need to find a bit more, but obviously I was very pleased this morning in qualifying, finally being somewhere there or thereabouts in the first 2 rows. And yeah.
It's nice to have it, isn't it? Look, you better close your door, otherwise you'll be swatting flies on the restart. Thanks for chatting to us.
Thank you.
You can tell Marvin's been racing in British GT, can't you, using phrases like there or thereabouts, that time-honoured British phrase. So this is sitting pretty, isn't it? It's a quick car, and Dean McDonald, who will do the majority of the remainder of the race, effectively taking on Bastian Bus in the number 80 Porsche as, if you like, your next best car in the queue. Circuit is being swept all around, in fact. This isn't the incident zone, but it is, well, we have the opportunity. Another part of the racetrack that can be cleared of any gravel or bits of car. So the marshal's hard at work. The tyre barrier being sorted out as well, now that the Ferrari has been moved. And the race control team watching all of this, along with the local officials. Once Niels Visic, the race director, is happy, then he can advise the teams of a countdown. But we're looking pretty well placed, I think, there now.
Yeah, it's not looking far away at all, is it? The circuit done a good job of getting to work pretty quick there.
Let's hear from Christopher Hauser next. Third, he is with the Audi. His thoughts, Bryn?
Well, Christopher, your team had to do a major job overnight. I believe they finished at 3:30 in the morning. I was talking to your teammate before this one, and they seem to have put together a really nice car, albeit with a different bonnet.
Yeah, obviously. It was a shame yesterday. I mean, it was a very unlucky situation, and then I couldn't avoid the impact anymore. It looked small, but it was, at the end, it was a bit more than what you expected, the impact. So the guys had a big job to do. It was quite a lot of damage, but as you can see now, even if the color doesn't match, the car seems to be fast.
Yeah, tell me a bit about what how you've managed to plug in the setup to be perfect for the race, for qualifying anyway, earlier on today.
Obviously, we focused more on qualifying. I think we did a mega job in getting a quali lap done. In the race pace, to be fair, at the moment, I have to be honest, I struggle a bit to follow the first two, and I also fella behind me, I think he could have slightly more potential. The heat is, I thought the heat will help us a little bit more, but at the end right now, it's going to be tough. So if you do no mistakes, we can do very well, but it's a long, yeah, we still have to finish it.
It's only a small amount of pressure, and the fella behind you is Fella. Thanks very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Christopher Hauser, I think, being attacked by the flies, which are hovering all around. Fans aren't, never mind the drivers, sitting in the spectator area overlooking the start and finish line. So we have the circuit being sorted of the drama. There is the safety car sitting at the end of the pit lane. You can see in the background the Ferrari of Dustin Blattner being brought back. So the gravel trap, the runoff area is now clear of cars, and the tyre barrier not that far away from being sorted out. We are, I think, getting closer to the resumption of the race. You saw the officials putting tyres back in place. There they are. And if those vehicles that bring the tyres and push the tyres into place are done, they will retreat. Are the officials there happy? Happier? The conveyor belting needing to be put back into position, and then that's pretty much the work done.
Yeah, actually, my first ever job was a marshal at a kart track, and that conveyor belt is horrible material. We have to drill through it, then try and get a self-tapping screw through, and it's really thick. So unless they've got a better drill than I was afforded when I was 16, it isn't the easiest job, and that might be another 3 or 4 minutes, and then we're somewhere good to go.
The technology has moved on since you were 16, let's be fair. I mean, it's in colour now for a start. What about Patrick Niederhauser's Lamborghini? 6th it runs at the moment. Let's get back to the pit lane.
Up and down the grid, we're seeing a variety of performances, but from you guys this weekend, it's been the best so far this season for you.
Yeah, looking good so far. We had a good quality this morning. The car was really working well. We improved the car step by step with every weekend, and now we are in the top 6 or on P6. So I hope to score some points today.
For those watching on, what have you been able to do, and how have you approached the setup and getting better performance, race by race, meeting by meeting?
In the end, it was all a brand new start for us. So first we needed to understand the car in general, what are the tricks to do, what makes the car fast, and then it's just a try and error. We didn't really have so much time to go testing, so we had to test more during the race weekend. So that's also a compromise that you cannot really fine-tune it. But like I said, with every meter we drive, we learn the car, and we keep improving.
So essentially, races have been tests for you to get more and more data and understanding?
Yeah, basically, yeah, because we didn't really have a lot of time pre-season to test and learn. So, yeah, learning by doing and learning by competition is the best test in the end.
Always is. Look, try and stay cool, and good luck.
Patrick Niederhauser, reigning Endurance Cup champion. It's been a very public test session for that Lamborghini Temeraria, the Rutronic Racing squad, looked after by former racer Klaus Graf. And to go from a brand like Porsche, in which you win a championship, to something else was quite a commitment. That is the Michael Blanchemin Audi that we saw going slowly early on. That's retired by the look of it to its pit box. And another one that had also lost a couple of laps was the Marcello Tomassoni COM2 Aston Martin. So a few other cars in strife. Right, that conveyor belting looks like it's done. The marshals are fleeing the scene, and round of applause from the fans over at the hairpin, so they know that we're close. And indeed, the track workers acknowledging the applause of the crowd. So, yeah, good work, hot conditions, and now we are not far away, I think, from getting activity back underway. You see how close turn 5 is to turn 13. The camera pans from one to t'other, and then that's the run all the way down the hill the other side. Let's quickly hear from Ricardo Fella before we get back to the drivers getting on board cars. To Bryn we go.
Well, Ricardo, we know the result you had at Spa was so impressive, and it seems to be like the car is performing again to Spa levels, which is good to see.
Yeah, it looks good. Car feels very good. We made a good step from yesterday to today. Obviously now, unfortunate with the red flag. I hope all the drivers are okay, and hope that we can go back to racing soon.
When we look at your championship position, you know, it seems to be you've had that great result at Spa overall. We look at endurance there too. What can you do in Sprint Cup? Is there anything, or is it just a case of keep learning, keep learning?
No, I mean, for sure the goal is to fight for the championship.
we try our best. So far we had good results, but also some zeros, and these we need to reduce. And if we manage that, I think we can still speak a word in the championship.
And what about here, driving the Porsche around this circuit? What are the strengths of the Porsche, and where maybe do you have to find more time?
Yeah, the strengths are definitely the corners. On the rest of the track, we are a little bit weak.
So, get your head in the game, and good luck.
Thank you.
And 10 minutes and counting to the restart. So drivers are getting themselves ready. And another of the talking points of the weekend has been the amount of curb usage coming through the chicane. And there you can see Romain Andriolo and Louis Pret, the McLarens, riding the curb. Behind them, Matthias Zagazzetta in the Ferrari. He eventually fell back before the stoppage behind that car, the BMW of Ignacio Montenegro, which is leading silver from that Mercedes, Aurelien Panis at the wheel.
Yep, and Valentino Rossi bouncing through as well. And then our third place silver car, the Comte Aston of Dorisan, followed by that unusually slow Emil Frey car of Caroli, then the Optimum McLaren of Mikey Porter.
What's going on with these Mercedes AMGs today? Because yesterday, certainly the Verstappen racing car looked so dominant. They didn't seem to have an edge in the qualifying session, and they're not making progress in the race.
Yeah, there's a balance of performance adjustment after Quali 1, ahead of Race 1. Race 1, the Mercedes was strong. It didn't hurt them. It seemed to hurt them more today in qualifying, and some teams saying that 20 kilos is 0.4 of a second. I think that's slightly too high. I think it's closer to 2.5 tenths. But the higher temperatures as well, coupled with that, I think they're probably just going through their tyres slightly quicker than they would want to, and more likely the issue than their rivals around them. And I think that's essentially what Mara Engel was alluding to when we spoke to him at the start of this red flag period.
It's quite a mix of brands, isn't it? Aston Martin leads, McLaren
Race control
leads
to
Audi.
all teams with an update, what to expect from the resumption. At 16:23, the safety car will lead the whole grid for 2 laps around the circuit before we will go green again. When the safety car returns to the pit lane, all drivers must continue on the track and pass the line on the start-finish straight. Once that has happened, I will open the pit window. But all drivers need to go one time after the safety car has gone back to the pit lane over the start-finish straight before I open the pit window.
I do find it fascinating listening to race directors. Doesn't matter who and in what championship, but the amount of information that the team's offered by Niels Vitic, there isn't a question that anybody can really think of now. He's covered everything.
I've got one. So the pit window opens is at the start of the 10-minute window, the first 5 being for the bronze and the silver, and then the second 5 being the gold and the pro, or the pit window is open to all 44. That is the only... My first option is the logical one, because that's the rules.
Yes, exactly.
But the pit window is now just going to be skewed 10 minutes later, effectively, for everyone.
I think your first thought is right. It will be the first 5 minutes for one group and the second 5 minutes for the other group. So your silvers
Race
and
control
bronzes
one
will
more time
stop
to all
first.
teams, just to confirm the split pit window, that's how it's named, will stay in place. So still we have the split pit window, no changes.
I think PINDO is a good abbreviation for that. So the split pit window remains, and now Nicky Team and Marvin Kirchhofer will get themselves back on board. So silver and bronze, a 5-minute window, and then the gold and pro cars, a 5-minute window within the 10, which is the combined pit window.
The only oddity for the teams is the pit window is normally defined, so 25 to 30, 30 to 35. So they're going to have to get their stopwatch out for the gold and pro cars of when the pit window opens, and then 5 minutes after that moment, they can pit. But that won't be a rounded minute like it usually is. So teams will have to play that one. So they're going to have to do another 3 laps after that pit window opens before they can box.
There is the Arthur Leclerc Ferrari. Good to go. Arthur
Race control to all teams, 5 minutes until the resumption.
And of course the clock restarts as soon as the safety car moves away. So the race resumes as soon as that car, that Maserati safety car, leaves the pit lane.
One to watch out for me is the car in 14th place, our first silver car. So he will be able to box first out of the top. And the bit interesting, so he'll get the undercut, and then the tyres will be perfect for his teammate. So Montenegro has had a mega start so far, and Leesmont has been super quick. So he's not going to win the race, but I think that car will jump up from 14th. I think it can go up into the top 8 after the pit window has finished for all cars.
And the bronze leader is Renat Salikov, who was involved in that drama with Dustin Blattner, but at the moment leading from Darren Lung, and then Peter Dempsey third in bronze, despite the fact that he had that drama with the pit stop required for a damaged wheel. Right then, we are closer to the resumption, so just about 4 minutes before the safety car leads them away. Track is clear. The red flag came out at roughly 15:54, and it's going to be at 16:23 that the cars resume.
Yeah, surprised the lack of cars plugging in the auxiliary battery. Normally, as soon as the parc ferme conditions open, as we see the Ben Green car that got assaulted earlier on by Van der Linde, looks like it's going to retire, doesn't it? It's gone all the way back into the box.
Yeah, it was 27th when it came in, but last in class. And if they've had a quick look at it and said, well, look, there's damage and we're not going to benefit,
or they've got a tight flight connection to get back to Paris.
That could be more important. Car's been retired. Really, really disappointing weekend for Emil Frey Racing. AF Corsa have proved the cars have got pace, but not a good weekend, and nor was Misano, really, for the Emil Frey team.
3 minutes until the race resumption. And just for info, I just received the question from several teams. Teams that want to retire their car have permission to do so, but by removing it from the fast lane and returning it to their garage. If someone wants to retire their car, permission to do so by removing it from the fast lane and bringing it back to the team garage.
As Emil Frey Racing has done with the Red Bull-backed car. Thierry Vermeulen therefore denied a drive. Right, it's going to be a very interesting second half of this race. We've still got more to go than we've had, and their driver's now back on board. We're into these last 3 minutes, as you've been hearing, before the resumption of the race. And big frustration for Nicky Team. That car is going to rely now on Kobe Powell's racecraft, isn't it, to keep it anywhere near the mix?
Yeah, it's also going to rely on the craft of the pit crews, because everyone's going to be so tight together. Yesterday, we saw a big disparity. ComG were fastest in the pits. They did everything from pit in to pit out in 38.6 seconds. We had WRT down at 44 seconds. We had a big spread there. So this could be a huge factor of how quick these cars get all 4 tyres and their driver change done. The quickest we've seen is 16 seconds last time out at Misano.
Right then, so we are almost ready to go. Teams are ready. They will make sure that the engines fire, close the door. Drivers are in, strapped into the cars, ready to go. There's Danny Hunkadea, yesterday's winner, running currently 9th. A very happy Jules Gounon yesterday, partly with his pace in the qualifying session to get pole. Delighted with that race win. It's been a tough season for him in DTM, so very happy to prove the point that he is still very, very capable of delivering in a GT3 Mercedes AMG, given the tools for the job. So there is that line of cars all the way down the pit lane, and we've got about a minute or so now, just over, before we can release the field back into the race.
1 minute.
So engines now do fire. There is Dorian Boccolacci ready to go. And everybody being cleared from the fast lane. So we're under safety car conditions once the final few seconds are up. As soon as the race gets back underway, it will be for this safety car restart. And then after one passing of the timing line, the window will be opened. So Marvin Kirchhofer versus Ricardo Feller. It's going to be interesting to see what Feller can do against Hausler, because he wants to jump in quickly.
15 seconds.
Yeah, and these tyres are going to be quite a long way out their operating window. Of course, the safety car helps bring them up, but we're going to see a slightly different order of pace,
5,
I think,
4,
as the tyres
3,
come back
2,
to perfect
1,
performance.
Race resumption.
So we're under yellow flag conditions now. Safety car leads them away. The race back on. The clock carries on ticking from just under 35 minutes of the race. And there, the field making its way down the pit lane. So 1 lap behind the safety car. They will cross the line and effectively do 1 full race lap before the pit window is officially open for them. Yeah, Boccolacci not getting away. So that's going to delay the queue behind him. And I think he's got going now, but you can see how much time has been lost against the Danny Hunkadea Mercedes. He'll get that back though now behind the safety car.
It's quite a wise move actually, because it gives you a big gap to run into at a bit of a faster pace, so you can generate a bit more tyre temp that way. So maybe a nice little tactic there from the Porsche driver Boccolacci, just to give himself 2 or 3 corners flat out rather than being stuck in this very slow chain of cars.
So we've seen Ben Green's Ferrari be retired, so that's going to change the order a little bit further down. Dylan Pereira up from the back of the grid. He started last of all and has made his way now up into 23rd, so 44th to 23rd. It's nearly half the field overtaken, and plenty more race to go for Alex Arca to gain progress there. So that car's already now running 5th in the Gold Cup.
Yeah, quickest Audi lap time of the race as well, so 10th quicker than Christopher Hasse, as we see Dawson making his way back onto track, 4th in class at the moment. Remember, he was right at the back as well, so this could be a bit of redemption.
Race control
for
again to all teams to update you, just to confirm, the safety car will stay out for 2 laps. Once the safety car will be withdrawn, all drivers must take the finish line on the start-finish straight, and after that one I will open the pit window. So all drivers must continue on the start-finish straight after the safety car has come back to the pit lane, and then I will open the pit window. Pit window will be a split pit window as per the regulations, duration 10 minutes.
And at least by doing that one racing lap, you will have a little bit of a gap between some cars rather than have half the field coming in en bloc.
Yeah, not a big enough gap for the 007 though. Remember, we thought they could maybe stay inside the top 8 pre-safety car, but this is going to probably put them outside the top 20 now.
Yeah, indeed it will. But because they're in that second group, there's an extra 5 minutes, if you like, for Nicky Tim to try to do something. He's not going to pull out 10 seconds, of course, but he'll try and do whatever he can in those few racing laps. So there, the field coming up then behind the safety car, which has done one of its 2 laps. Once more, the safety car will go, then there'll be one racing lap, and then the pit window will be open. So all of this getting us closer to the halfway point, and the bronze leading Mercedes is there. Renat Selikov, you can anticipate the bronzes to be in early to give way to their higher graded pro driver.
Yeah, this was the car with the contact, wasn't it, with Blattner. It's hard to see much contact. It's on the other side, the side we're looking at now, and it looked pretty clean to me, so it shows you how slight the contact was, but the outcome was pretty dramatic for Dustin Blattner in that 74 Kessel Ferrari.
Yeah, big damage, as you were saying. There's Darren Lung, who is second in bronze. He will give way to the very experienced Augusto Farfus.
Race control to all teams, safety car in this lap.
So we will be good to go at the end of this 16th lap. Nils Vitic working overtime with his team in race control, keeping an eye on, of course, all the regulations, but also the safe running of the race itself. So with the barrier damage and the concern over a driver then needing to suspend the race, but we're back, and it'll be a green flag on the line this time around, the timing line coming out of the chicane then. So safety car will be in, and Nicky Team just has to go for broke and see what, if any, gap he can build.
Yeah, again, we've had this before with cars having penalties leading a safety car. For me, you've got to back the field up as much as you can when the safety car lights go off, which will happen now, and then go for an early restart to try and string the field out. So you can slow the pack down to 60k, but then when he goes, he can't stop.
Safety car lights out.
And he can't be in front of the safety car before the safety car 1 line, which is quite late on here. It's almost at the apex of T17, but I expect him to drop the hammer early here on the restart.
Yeah, you've got to time it right, haven't you? You want as much real estate as you can, but as you say, you can't overtake the safety car. So Nicky Team now accelerates away, confident that the safety car will be in the pit lane.
Green flag at the line.
And we're going to go racing this time then. There's a big whack of curb. Nicky Team is on it. The car slightly unsettled, and he comes through the chicane with another launch, and everybody hops and bounces over the curb. Ricardo Fowler on his toes. You can't overtake until you've crossed the line either. And now Fowler lines up to have a go against the Audi of Hauser. Pulls out, pulls back in again. Couldn't make the move as they go into the Grand Cours through turns 1 and 2. Nose to tail then here. The Audi just
Race
ahead of the Porsche.
to all teams. Pit window will open at 16:29. 16:29. Pit window will open for 10 minutes. Split pit window.
So from that time, the teams know when their second 5-minute period is open.
Yeah, so the Pro and the Golds can't be in, but 4 5 minutes after that. So the teams will be working out how many laps they can do, and it's tight here. It's going to be 3 for the leaders, but maybe only 4 for this car backwards. I think Feller could be the first one to box out of this group in around 6 minutes.
Some more yellow flags, I think, on this restart lap as the cars now go down towards turn 8, turning their way up through that long 180-degree corner. And again, Feller tries to get up the inside. There's sort of a gap, but he couldn't quite commit to it. Pit window now opens, and Feller crawling all over the back of Hauser again. Look, Thiem and Kirchhofer are getting away as you see the Porsche in the wheel tracks of the Audi. Ricardo Feller closing up as they dive towards that Imola chicane. Turns 11 and 12, but what Feller needs now is to try to dive up the inside, coming through the Chateau d'Eau right-hander. And Christopher Hauser is doing a good job of defending. He knows he's not got the fastest car, but he's not going down without a fight, is he? They're being caught as well by Arthur Rougier, the gold leader, and Niederhauser's there in 6th as the top 2 breaks away.
Again, Hauser is really happy to be helping Nicky Thiem here, isn't he? This is backing everyone up. This gives Thiem the best chance after that car serves 10 seconds. That 10 seconds will be at the start of the pit stop. The COM2 team won't be able to touch the car for 10 seconds as we see the first car coming in from the silver classes.
So that's Montenegro in, and also down the pit lane is Arturo Dorisson. Also in is Felix Hausiger. So it's silvers and bronzes, remember, that can be in first. Salikov is in, Lung is in, no surprise there. The bronze-graded drivers coming in as you see Dorisson giving way to Oliver Söderström, who was on pole in silver yesterday. And dramas for 99. Dylan Pereira's got a puncture. He'd made such good progress from the back of the grid, and yet again for the Tresor Atepto team, 1 step forward and 2 back. There's a big concertina effect going on for 3rd, isn't there, behind Hauser, because Feller is stuck and he's being caught again by Rougier, Niederhauser, Leclerc, Engel, Hunkedaer and Jordan Peppers up to 10th at the expense of Boccolacci.
Yeah, it's all kicking off in the back here as well. The silver class car. Interesting, they didn't box. That Bartone camo car could have come in. It's fighting with the gold class car as we see the 222 car here. Remember, minimum pit stop time for the bronze cars. They need to be in pit lane for 53 seconds. That will roughly lose them 14 seconds to the unlimited fast class of everyone else but bronze.
See how busy it is as well down the pit lane. So now Kian Ju is able to get away. Dylan Pereira has just about made it to the pit lane in that Audi, but don't forget he's in gold, so this isn't his pit window. He's got to come in again.
Yeah, exactly. That's going to really hurt them as Dempsey is now heading over to Eddie Cheever in that white and orange Porsche. He's got a chance here, but the bronze class cars are ahead now of Farfus in the 991 car and Marvin Dienst in that turquoise Mercedes.
Yeah, Dean's looking very, very strong indeed. We've not yet had anything on the screen about the incident between Salikov and Blattner being looked at, but it might come as the field then wriggles its way clear of the chicane once more then. So there is Dylan Pereira going back into the race, but with another pit stop due. And now the incident, yeah, it is being investigated, so the race-stopping drama will be looked at. Not surprising, as you see there, the Robin Knudsen Porsche go through, and this now is Mathis Liesmont, who was taken over in the car that led in silver from Ignacio Montenegro.
Yeah, his outlap's not been that quick. Couple of tenths off in sector 2. I'd expect the tyres to be in the perfect operating window, have just come out the oven, but more importantly for him, he's got this nice gap back to the COM2 car, the 21 car that has looked very strong. That was on pole position in yesterday's race, but had to start from pit lane after a throttle position sensor issue at the start of the race.
The Cheever Dempsey Porsche being looked at for pit lane speed, either on the way in or the way out. They're going through then. You've just had the BMW of Mathis Liesmont, and that is Oliver Söderström chasing on behind. The bronze leader is Marvin Dienst. Behind him is Augusto Farfus. And there's that Damocletian investigation now hovering over that Mercedes AMG. Remember, our first 5 minutes of this pit window for the bronzes and for the silvers. And then when they're done, the golds and the pros can make their pit stops as well.
Yeah, exactly that. So the pros now giving it everything. These cars, interesting, all have a bit too much fuel in, so never any fuel saving in this series, and these cars will now just have to run flat out. Drivers all trying to burn as much fuel as possible to get as light as possible when they can. And Hauser actually, pace looks okay on the last lap, and now the concertina is really behind the 111 CSA McLaren of Arthur Rougier.
Valentino Rossi being looked at for leaving the track and gaining an advantage up at turn 12. So Valentino Rossi's rather tough day continues. He's now being investigated as there. Christopher Haas is doing an exceptional job of hanging on to that third place as the cars climb out of turn 3. Then the Estoril long right-hander, and then this long drag up towards the Adelaide hairpin at turn 5. By the time you get there, you've done effectively 2 kilometres of this 4.4 click circuit.
Yeah, and this is going to be a busy lap for pit lane. Everyone, I think, will dive to pit lane at the end. The only one potential is Nicky Team to stay out, to keep trying to extend that. But I think the problem is the cars that do box will get the undercut, so actually it will hurt him. Better to box now. Talking about the undercut, Leesmont has just done the fastest lap of the race. That was the car I was saying to keep an eye out. In 14th last time by, a second faster than our race leader. That is going to be an advantage for the silver cars.
The Robin Knudsen Gilles Magnus Porsche that won gold yesterday has got a drive-through penalty for causing a collision, and there's Ricardo Feller still crawling all over the back of Christopher Hauser as they make the run now up towards the Imola chicane, but you can see all the traffic ahead. Long queue of cars behind, and Feller frustrated once more. He can't find a way past that Audi.
One of the traffic cars was a Com2U bronze class car. Was that a bit of tactics on Com2U? Nicky Team had got past, but Kirchhoffer has not. I'm not going to say anything here, but that is a perfect cork in a perfect bottle for the Com2U car.
Yeah, it's number 11, which has now got Marcello Tomassoni at the wheel. So Nicky Team trying to get away. Tomassoni then comes to the chicane as into the pit lane is Marvin Kirchhoff as it gets him out of the traffic to put Dean McDonald into the car and get them on fresher tyres before the Aston.
Yeah, Hasse stays out, so does Rougier, so not everyone taking it. Unsurprisingly, Nicky Team stays out. Very surprising that Juncker stays out, though, in the number 3 car.
So Ricardo Feller to give way to Bastien Bus and getting onto the new tyres as quick as, and therefore hoping to gain time over those that have stayed out on older rubber. Dean McDonald into the Garage 59 McLaren. There in the pit lane as well, the Romain Andriolo, now Simon Gachet McLaren does its driver change, another of those in gold. Door closes. And Mathis Leesemont gaining places overall. As you say, he's done the fastest lap of the race. There's Bastien Bus on his way down the pit lane. So this may well work out really nicely for the Porsche.
Yeah, it's been a good pit stop by the looks of it, and just trying to pick out some losers so far. Just trying to spot the 30 car is going to get right in front of this Ferrari.
Another 2 laps.
So 2 more laps for Nicky Team from the last passing of the line. There is Leesemont then, who's put himself ahead of Thomas Neuber. So they've won big.
I thought they might be top 8. I think that is exactly 8th place. So showing how strong an undercut is. 3 laps on brand new tyres for Leesemont. That's jumped them up from 14th place. And that's the positive of a split window when you are the Group A element of it.
So it's going to be a jumbled order once everybody has done their mandatory stop. As you see, not only is Leesemont ahead of that Ferrari, but because his tyres are up to operating temperature, he's got a bit of a gap. There's the leader, and he's still got the lapped Com2U car behind. So there's nobody for the moment anywhere near Nicky Team, who thunders across the line. But remember, even though he's staying out and trying to build a gap, he's doing it on tyres that are older than many, not all, but many of the cars around him.
Yeah, the 11 car, I think it's got Gelmini in it, hasn't it? The driver ID hasn't updated on our screen, but the bronze drivers are all out of the cars now as more cars make their way down pit lane. A big loser was the 59 of McDonald, and only just picked that up. I think they've lost quite a lot of space here in pit lane. Looking at their pit stop, it was 48 seconds, 10 seconds slower. Awful stop for Garage 59.
So that helps this car, as we were predicting earlier on. Bastien Bus taking over from Ricardo Feller, 1 to watch. So the Porsche then comes over the timing line. It's still Team from Hasse from Rougier, who have yet to stop, but the Lion Speed Porsche looking good. Mathis Leesemont still the man with the fastest lap of the race, to his credit. But yeah, as you say, Dean McDonald's pit stop, a bad one, and that's going to cost them dear.
Another one that's going to cost them dear. For me, I think Marvin Dienst and Farfus, their pit stop is too quick. 53 seconds for the bronze class, both of them 52.6. Right. So first and second place in bronze, for me, have got a penalty coming for their pit stop being too fast.
So with all the data available, you think that shouldn't be possible. But if the car's released just a fraction too soon, then it trips the beam too early, and then if it's under the pit stop time, it goes to the stewards. There is their number 3, that car which was started, of course, by Danny Hunkadea. Jules Gounon has now taken it over, and now Nicky Team makes the run into the pit lane. Felicia Gelmini goes through, got a yellow flag there. Up at the Adelaide hairpin, there's a Ferrari facing the wrong way, which I know doesn't narrow it down. But it's trying to get itself back into the queue. Carl Bennett at the wheel of 71, that was 21st overall. That is 7, ready to go. Kobe Powell's at the wheel, and this is the car we need to be monitoring now. Bastien Bus at the wheel. Is this going to lead at the end of the lap?
Easily, I think. I think they've just had such a slick pit stop that our Spa winning car did their pit stop 10 seconds faster than Garage 59. This is the 10 seconds extra for the 007. So their pit stop's going to be about the same as Garage 59 as we look at our new race leader. And actually the McLaren has jumped as well.
And look what's going to be either second or very close to second. It's the Montenegro Lisbon BMW, which has had a mega win on the stops as the car goes through. So Simon Riker has taken over from Haase. There it is. Arthur Rougier is given away to James Kell. And another car I think that's gained ground on the stops has been the Amaury-Cordeel Jordan Pepper BMW. So we'll have the full order at the end of the lap. Fastest lap of the race now is to Bastien Bus. As there you see Alessio Picariello's Porsche running a little bit wide. Lucas Auer is on his toes in that man filter Mercedes AMG. But right now it is Bus ahead of Mathis Lismont. Thomas Neubauer is third and Luca Engschler fourth. So after Patrick Niederhauser's good first stint, they've made even more progress now.
Lambo on for a podium. Never thought I'd be saying that after the form they've started the year, but shows you how good Rutronic are, always so quick in the pits. So this is our race leader, comfortable race leader at the moment. Next car is the 30 BMW leading the silver class.
And in bronze, Marvin Dienst, a 20-second stop go for causing a collision. So Marvin Dienst, 22nd on the road, leads bronze, but a 20-second stop go penalty is coming. That's the second place car leading silver, Mathis Lismont. Then it's Neubauer ahead of Engschler. Simon Riker is fifth. There's sixth, James Kell. He's leading gold at the moment. Seventh is Dean McDonald. We thought that could be a winning car, but they've thrown it away, it seems, for whatever reason on the pit stop. Then you've got Tommaso Mosca's Ferrari ahead of Cordeel and Picariello rounding out the top 10. And look, Jules Gounon down in 14th. A bad pit stop for 2Cs.
Yeah, really it's hurt. They went long as well, didn't they? And we've seen how much it's gained Lismont going early, so maybe that extra lap with Junquedaire behind the wheel was a bad call. I think in the bronze class, this is going to go to the 93 Ziggo Sport car.
Except that's got a 10-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane, so have another go.
2C's, the 222 car that started on the last row of this 22-row field less than an hour ago.
All right, I'll see if I can find anything to attach to that for you. But you might be right. I think that's the most untroubled, if that's the right phrase, right now. But there, on its own, is the lead car that really seemed to struggle for pace yesterday. But good pit work, good qualifying by Ricardo Feller. And Bastien Bus now finds himself in the lead with a margin of just under 4 seconds over the silver-leading BMW of Mathis Lismont, upholding WRT honour. And look at the traffic jam behind.
Yeah, James Kell has done well. He's up to 6th. He's got Dean McDonald as the other Garage 59 car. Fleming tries to get down the inside of Gounon. That's going to be a great run as they go to 6-7.
Tom Fleming, no respect of reputation, getting into the side of Jules Gounon again and again and again.
Seen a lot of that this weekend. Drivers having a bit of a rub and then losing their heads and turning across each other. They all need to grow up a bit. These are expensive and fast cars. Rubbing's fine, but that was way too aggressive for me on Fleming, moving across the front of that Merc.
And in the end, I don't think it's necessarily done him any good, has it? As you see, James Kell still leading in gold, but that Ferrari is the danger. Look, Tommaso Mosca is second in gold and trying to make progress. What happened to the Dylan Pereira Audi? It's 38th and last now. Alex Arca at the wheel of the car after the extra pit stop. There is Dienst with stop-go to be made, and there's confirmation, a 20-second stop-go penalty for the incident that Rinat Salikov was involved in with Dustin Blattner.
Yeah, I think it's fair from what we saw. It was racing incident at the start, but again, like this side-to-side contact, it just got too big too quickly. Why are cars hitting each other in a straight line? There's no need for it. Of course, I may have missed it. Maybe the wheel has been grabbed out of his hands as has been the initial side-to-side contact, but there's been too much of that for me this weekend.
Now, this is going to put Augusto Farfus into the lead of bronze because Dienst has just come in to serve the stop-go. So there is the bronze-leading BMW. Darren Lung has driven. Augusto Farfus is behind the wheel, and the Brazilian driver now leading the bronze category. Behind there is Eddie Cheever, but that car's got a penalty because of speeding in the pit lane. And then the next car in bronze will be Kian Jewis. So let's see what he can do in treble 2, the reigning British champion, to get anywhere near the class-leading Augusto Farfus. We're hovering over the top there of number 31 BMW. That's Amaury-Cordeel, currently in 9th place. And the lead gap going up a little bit, 3.9 seconds now is Bus to Lismont. And a big send up the inside and more contact. That was Picariello getting past Cordeel. He had to be bold at 180 and he went through on the inside.
Yeah, it was a brave move. It nearly worked out, but the Porsche looks like it's got away with that one without any damage. As the 555 CSA McLaren runs wide, this is going to give a chance to the WRT car, and it's going to get all the way around. It's been a good stint for the 31, now being driven by Cordeel, and the Optimum McLaren as well follows through. That was a tough couple of corners for that CSA McLaren.
Yeah, it was indeed. Look at this traffic jam, though, now that's built up behind Cordeel as he comes through with the McLaren there next up. So Guillaume Oliveira looking for a way by, and maybe that BMW has picked up a little bit of damage because it's sort of dropping away now down the order, isn't it? And it's got more and more cars queued up behind it. 14 minutes are still on the clock. Boost leading 4.5 seconds to the good. Remember that Porsche has already been victorious this season. They had a win at Brands Hatch in sprint. They've won at Spa, of course, in endurance, and now 21 is coming under attack. So there you've got Gounon up alongside Söderström and Augusto Farfus leading bronze. Apparently they've been able to pull the Joker pit stop, so although it was slightly short, they're allowed to use that pit time. And the Joker up the inside goes Gounon, gains a place, 13th overall from Söderström. And it's busy behind, look, as you've got Tom Fleming in the mix as well. He did give that place back to Gounon, but he's on the attack again.
Yeah, Gounon closes the door, but the door was then pushed a bit by Fleming. Has to back out of it. It's actually going to be Hesse here on the attack into turn 8. I think this could be a move done. Fleming just closes the door in time. I think Fleming had a chance there of getting overtaken, but Hesse slightly hesitant to send it down the inside.
Max Hesse then, who was very good at the next part of the circuit, the Imola chicane yesterday. Not close enough to attack here, but Fleming in the Gold Cup Garage 59 McLaren fending off the Pro Cup BMW. Hesse 16th, lock up there by Fleming. Hesse to the outside into Chateau d'Eau, gets the switchback, gets alongside, and that's going to give him track position all the way down the hill.
Yeah, it'll be an easy move for Hesse now. Just need to find his braking points. Just after the 100-meter board here, need to lose 150k, and Fleming backed out of that one really early. He didn't want to get hang out to dry on the outside, so broke early to be able to tuck in. Fleming hasn't had the easiest start to the stint. He would want to be in front of the number 3 Verstappen car, the blue Merc there, as we've got a slow car of Gemini there in the 11 bronze class car.
Yeah, limping along, so...
Race control to all teams. We have a slow car between turn 5 and 6 on driver's right. This one's covered with a white flag. Please be aware.
I was going to say he's got a lot of lap to go, but I think Felice Gelmini is going to park it. Yes,
slow car is in a safe position.
So
track is clear.
The flags can be withdrawn, and the leaders go thundering through as you see Luca Engschler now going for third at the expense of Thomas Neubauer. This is undoubtedly the best we've seen out of the Lamborghini Temerario this year, out of the Rotronic Racing squad, and Luca Engschler, winner of the CrowdStrike 24 Hours of Spa last season, new to that team as well for this year. He's a Lamborghini factory driver, but new to Rotronic. He is absolutely flying.
Yeah, the Raging Bull is back. It's been a bit of a lame donkey so far. Can the Prancing Horse hold it off as we've got an Audi running wide? I think that was just getting out of the way rather than being an actual issue to let the faster cars through. But this Lamborghini is suddenly looking alive.
And this will be a big, big boost to all of the Lamborghini teams, proving it can be done. Engschler there, crawling all over the back of Neubauer. Simon Reicher is still in 5th, and James Kell 6th, still leading in gold. Tommaso Mosca not able to clear Dean McDonald and go after the McLaren as there, out of the chicane, goes 2nd, 3rd and 4th. In fairness, although Neubauer is trying to keep at bay the Engschler Lamborghini, he in turn is not that far adrift of Leesmont for 2nd overall.
No, really not. And a car that's lost a load of place in the pits that we've not touched on. The 48, all the way down in 20th place. Their pit stop nearly 20 seconds over the fastest. So a problem for Winwood. I don't remember saying that. A yellow car in the back of shot now should have been well inside the top 8 after the pit stops, all the way down in 20th.
So these teams that should have been gaining in the championship with the demise of 32 BMW, giving away points. The Danny Hunkadea Mercedes only 13th overall. You're riding on board now with Eddie Cheever, and there's the confirmation of the 10-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Remember, that car's made an extra pit stop after Peter Dempsey needed a new wheel because of the contact with Spinelli and then further contact with Calvin van der Linde. So although the car currently is running 2nd in class, the time penalty is going to promote Kian Jewis.
Yeah, and he will want to try and get past Farfus in front, which is going to be a difficult task. And yeah, at the moment they could just be holding on for a class podium in that bronze class, even with the 10 seconds added at the end.
So we've got the field turning its way again now through Chateau d'Eau, turn 13 of the 17 on this lap, and we are into the last 10 minutes of this second race of the weekend. The next time GT World Challenge Europe goes racing, we're going to be back to endurance. It'll be the Nürburgring at the end of August, so a very different field, very different circuit, and a very different type of racing as they bounce out of the chicane. You can see the way the gaps are between Neubauer and Enschler for third and fourth. That Lamborghini close, but not close enough to make a move.
No, they really are catching that BMW, aren't they, in front? Of course, the BMW's done 3 more laps on its tyres, so it gained at the start massively, but now it is slightly later as Neubauer runs wide. This is going to be a real good chance for the Lambo.
At the inside, tries to go Enschler. Neubauer tries to get back across the road and cover him off. Enschler's not quite level. He's got his nose up the inside, but now he has got the power. He's being crowded onto the grass. Neubauer has to give him racing room eventually, and Luca Enschler late on the brakes into the Adelaide Hat, but he's going to go third.
What a move. It was all from Neubauer running deep in T3. What I loved about that was Enschler was getting crowded at the second apex of 3 and just kept his foot in. There was a slight bit of contact, but for me that was Neubauer moving across the front of him. We see so many times drivers backing out of it. Enschler felt like he knew that was his only opportunity. We saw a fiery youngster here last year, didn't we? Yeah. In the Huracan against Benji Goethe. He didn't succeed that time. He did today to get a podium. This is going to be a mega result potentially for the Rutronic Lamborghini.
The best they've had all year is 11th. They were 41st yesterday, so what a turnaround. And Luca Enschler is absolutely flying. He made his name in touring car racing, winning Malaysian and Asian TCR titles. His father was a very good touring car racer, Franz Enschler, but right now Luca in third place, and that's second, of course, in the Pro Cup, going like he's not gone this year before. This is the best we've seen out of not just the Rutronic Temerario, but any of them, no matter which the team is.
Yeah, jumping on board with Eddie Chiva, the third, coming into turns 11 and 12, the fast chicane here, all about using curb, but not too much where you'd get a track limit. Then the awkward 13, and it's awkward because it goes back on itself, so you have to get an early apex, wait on the throttle, and then try not to run into the gravel trap. The exit important to give you a run down the hill here into the last big break of the lap. Turn 15, like I said, you break just after the 100 metres, 200k down to around 65 at this first apex. A short straight into this final chicane where we're seeing cars vault over the curbs, trying to take the straightest line possible to the line.
So although the Augusto Farfus BMW is being caught, remember Chiva has got this time penalty for speeding in the pit lane, so even if he gets past, it'll be a Pyrrhic victory as they go now down towards turn 3, the long Estoril corner. Augusto Farfus in that bronze leading BMW for the very enthusiastic Darren Lung, who has sunk so much into his motor racing and indeed the careers of others, and there's an effort being made and more contact there because that was Picariello desperately trying to get past Tommaso Mosca. It didn't work. That could have ended really ugly.
Again, I go back to this point of why is everyone squeezing each other in a straight line? Picariello had the overlap there. Mosca should be getting a penalty for me. He squeezed him to the side, that's fine, but you can't keep squeezing. Picariello had the overlap, and it was actually Mosca trying to get past Fleming, wasn't it? I think has backed everyone up, or McDonald, sorry. And so Picariello has the corner. Mosca knows that he's going to lose the place if he leaves it like this, because the inside goes to Picariello. He runs him up to the line. Picariello is very fair. I would have kept my foot in and sent that Ferrari hard into the wall. That should be a penalty for the 51 Ferrari.
Let's see what comes of it then, as Alessio Picariello gets his heart rate down and regroups. There is Tommaso Mosca, desperate not to lose time against James Kell for the Gold Cup lead. Kell, in fairness, doing a good job of keeping McDonald at bay. There is Gounon, who has gained a place now ahead of Amaury Cordial. So Jules into the top 10 as they come out of the chicane. This is the Max Hesse BMW. He's taken over from Valentino Rossi, and as they break the beam, Hesse still in 12th place. Tough weekend for BMWs, the best of them, again, being that Silver Cup car. Matti Schliessmal second overall. Hesse up the inside of Cordial, and he's going to get through coming out of 3.
Yeah, nice move. Looked a little risky for a second, didn't it? It looked like Cordial was going to fight back, and he's still in the tow. This will see if there's any team orders. If he stays behind Hesse, he's been told to hold position.
And again, Mosca trying to go around the outside of Dean McDonald. He can't do it. And where's the Porsche out of all of this? Is Picariello going to have another go? No, he's not. Not close enough to attack. But Mosca's zealotry on the outside has cost him time against that McLaren.
Yeah, it's been noted for the contact at turn 5, so race control been acting pretty fast today, haven't they, dishing out penalties. So expect a penalty before the end of races. Picciarello is back. The bar has been set. The rules of engagement have been set. Picciarello now knows how sharp his elbows can be in the side of that Ferrari if needed.
Yeah, the teams have said to Lewis Robbie, the chairman of the stewards, if we can have penalties during the race, then we'd rather have that than investigations afterwards. We know what we're up against. We know what we can do. We know what the real situation is. So they're trying to do them as quickly as possible. There you see the latest drama for Mosca, trying to go around the outside of McDonald and being run out wide. McDonald wants to get past Kell, and in so doing would make Kell vulnerable for his Gold Cup lead. McDonald tries the outside, wants the undercut, but there's no real way through there.
No, Kell wants to be the lead McLaren, doesn't he, on the grid at the moment. 6th overall, first gold, like you said, David, and is not willing to let that go. He's almost forgetting about the gold battle, or he's trying to keep McDonald as a buffer to the second in the gold class, which is that red Ferrari of Mosca, which has got a target on its back, I think, coming from the Boots and VDS Porsche.
But the Ferrari, all of a sudden, is much closer to the back of the McLaren. Then there's a bit of a snap of oversteer from Mosca midway through 3, heading up towards the hairpin. We've only got 4 minutes to go, bear in mind, so these are all important battles now because they're running out of mileage in order to change the order. Is McDonald going to dive to the inside? He thinks about it. James Kell having a good run here, fends him off. Picciarello thinks about getting past Mosca, can't do it.
No, it's a bit of a dive bomb there. He's just trying to out-nerve him, if anything, just to try and make him miss an apex. Porsche so strong out of turn 5, said it a lot today, but seems to be its best attack into turn 6 here. McDonald runs super wide, will take a track limit, can use that momentum to overtake into 8. He cannot. Track limits haven't been super prevalent this weekend, have they? Everyone well behaved. James Kell is on 5, so if he gets one more, he would be on the door of a 5-second penalty added to his race time.
And the number 50 Ferrari, the car of Thomas Neubauer, hasn't got any either from him nor after Leclerc's stint behind the wheel. Kell under pressure, wide goes McDonald. Mosca is right there as well, so Dean McDonald in the middle of this trying to attack and defend. Mosca looks for the tighter run out of Chateau d'Eau. Has he got the line coming off the corner? Yes. Is he alongside the McLaren? No. So Dean McDonald just able to keep the Ferrari at bay as they drop down towards turn 15, but Kell can't shake them off.
One of these 4 cars is not going to finish this race, as I nearly got proved quite right on that statement. Kell is backing everyone up. He's right to do that, but he's causing a huge fight behind, and actually is going to give Gounon a chance to be somewhere near as we go under 3 minutes remaining. Engstler has really caught Leesmont as well for the battle, 2nd overall.
Yeah, half a second between them. So it is Bus, Leesmont, Engstler the top 3, Neubauer 4th, Simon Riker doing a good job hanging on to 5th, helped potentially by Kell, as you say, stacking up McDonald, Mosca, and then Picciarello behind, with Jules Gounon in 10th place, yesterday's dominant winner with Danny Huncadea. This is the run out of turn 4, the golf corner, and then up towards this Adelaide hairpin. Many of the corners here and parts of the circuit named after other venues, but as they come out of the Adelaide hairpin down towards the turn 6-7 Nürburgring chicane, Leesmont is ahead just of Engstler. That is a gap that's coming down. McDonald is thinking about a move against James Kell. In a sense, Kell could let him go because that's not his battle, but if he does let him go, then he's vulnerable to Mosca, which is his battle. So big pressure for Kell here, no matter what he does.
Yeah, and the problem for McDonald is he's a McLaren factory driver. He's paid by the brand. He's potentially going to fire off a customer of James Kell. So that is a jeopardy that I've been in myself, and it is an awkward situation. You're worried about losing your job for being slow, and also worried about your job for firing off a customer.
So out of turn 13 comes McDonald. He's keeping Mosca behind him. Look at the way that Gounon has caught up now to the number 2 Picciarello Porsche. Onto the last lap goes Bastien Bus. We've got less than that time left in the race now. Fastest lap done by this man. Bastien Bus, the leader. He's looking for a 2nd Sprint Cup win of the season. That's for 2nd. Mathis Leesmont is ahead of Luca Engstler. The gap actually between the first 2 has come down, hasn't it, from 2.5 to 2.1, but I think Bus is managing this. Leesmont on target to win in silver, and Engstler having Retronic Racing's race of the season.
Really, isn't it? And is he going to go for 2nd, or is he happy with a podium? Leesmont will be worried about the silver class. It's an interesting story for this 80 car. Fastest lap of the race, fastest pit stop out of everyone as well. They started at 2nd on the row, didn't they, in 4th place, but it's been a really good drive for them, and this is our bronze class leader. Darren Lung had a good start, didn't he? Got roughed up, remember, and the car is okay. The Porsche behind has that 10-second penalty, and the Jewish car is really starting to catch as well.
It is indeed, so that could well be reversed on the Corrected time, you're on board with Eddie Cheever for Ziggo Sport Tempesta, the Herbert run Porsche. But for Lion Speed GP, they won the CrowdStrike 24 Hours of Spa. They won one of the 2 sprint races at Brands Hatch. There's going to be a second win of the year, and this will be good news in the championship. They were third coming into this race. They're going to gain points over Danny Hunkerdea and particularly over the leaders Van der Linde and Witz. So Bastien Bus and Ricardo Feller in the interrupted second race at Magny-Cours come now down towards turn 15. Checkered flag is at the ready, and so the Porsche from the second row of the grid is going to win at Magny-Cours. Ricardo Feller and Bastien Bus win race 2 here in the sunshine. Second, and another silver win to Mathis Liesmont and Ignacio Montenegro. The silver winners are second. This is the gold winning car, Arthur Rougier and James Kell. They're going to be 6th as they come through the chicane, and Augusto Farfus and Darren Lung are going to win bronze. And you saw Jules Gounon coming into shot way up on 2 wheels in the Mercedes from 2Cs Verstappen Racing that won yesterday. There is Farfus. He has got Eddie Cheever behind him, but Cheever's got a penalty anyway. Farfus has staved him off, and as long as Jewis is within 10 seconds, he's going to take second for 2Cs within bronze. There's the flag, there's the winning bronze car. Farfus brings it home.
Yeah, great performance from Paradine there. They've been knocking on the door all year, but that's been a seriously quick car. Farfus pumping in some laps as we go to our overall winners. Lion Speed GP, the Dutch team, are in a good run of form. Spa winners, like we've said, and that's been a good race from Feller in shot and Bus in the car. So many incidents noted between cars 2 and 51, Piccarello and Mosca. It's been 3 separate incidents noted at 3 separate corners, so it's been kicking off in there. Have to say, James Kell, I didn't think he was going to hold off Dean McDonald for that amount of time, but he did, and he did it well to win his class.
And in bronze, Cian Jewis did get second, and Loris Cabirou also got ahead of Eddie Cheever. So 55, the Dynamique GT Porsche, which was Loris Cabirou and Dimitri Gavatseva up into third. So off the podium, that Ziggo Sport Tempesta car, after having taken a good result yesterday when we had the Bronze Cup amended result. It was second for Cheever and Dempsey, but today they end up dropping down the order rather than gaining. So Ricardo Feller, a happy man, the German Lion Speed GP team coming home victorious. It's a relatively young team owned by racer Patrick Kolb, who himself was on the podium at the CrowdStrike 24 Hours of Spa. But as we were saying yesterday and this morning and during the race, 2 completely different races, different feel, not only in terms of the light, the conditions, the temperatures, but in the result and the pace of cars.
Yeah, the intensity was so strong, wasn't it, in this race? You do get an allowance as a driver. When it's race 2, the car only has to be swept into the race truck, whereas in race 1, if you have a big enough shunt, you miss race 2, obviously. So I think that's what we've seen today. But I think some work from Niels Vicic maybe needs to be done in the next driver's briefing at the next round, of just a bit more respect between all drivers.
Is that a legacy of the circuit rather than the driving, as in here it's hard to overtake, you've got to be more aggressive?
Yeah, it can be frustrating, of course, getting stuck behind cars, but everyone's got the same track and the same cars to work with in that regard. So yeah, it's a light excuse, but yeah, for me, we had a couple of big shunts and we could have had a few more if it weren't for some lucky and good driving from all involved.
Well, it is a second win of the year for Bastien Bus and Ricardo Feller, a first win of the year for James Kell and Arthur Rougier in gold, a 4th win for Ignacio Montenegro and Mathis Liesmont in silver, and a first for Darren Lung and Augusto Farfus in bronze. So real mix, and you're on board with that bronze winning BMW. The officials now will want the class winning cars to go to the podium in the fan zone, effectively the other side of that race control building. There it is, and you can see already there the winning car and winning co-drivers. That's Ignacio Montenegro putting on his winner's hat. He's part of that silver winning crew, and he's a very happy man indeed. Winning silver is one thing, second overall is quite a result, and that Porsche, despite all the energy put through it over the curb, almost looks brand new, doesn't it?
It really does. It finished Spa like that, didn't it?
Yeah.
With the only Porsche today, it's finished with its front bumper as well. Seems a quirk on that latest gen Porsche, the Evo, where the bumper is obviously easy to replace, but easy to remove as well.
Tommaso Mosca being given a 5-second time penalty for forcing Alessio Picariello off the track. We will see where that puts that car. But also Picariello is given a 5-second penalty for causing a collision, so I don't think it's going to make any difference at all. Let's listen to the radio from 30.
Mega dropping to just make the overall podium in GT World Challenge. P2 made overall, P1 silver. Mega drop, mega pace. Amazing. Thank you guys. Thank you for the flip flop. That was mega.
That was on the in-lap for Mathis Lismont, and absolutely right. Second overall in that company for a Silver Cup car is quite something. The other best we'd had out of a Silver was 8th earlier on in the season for Lismont and Montenegro. Right, Bastien Bus, Ricardo Feller win race 2 at Magny-Cours.
Well, I'll tell you what, Ricardo, what a great performance for you both there. We spoke to you, Ricardo, when we were waiting there to get back out after the red flag, and it seemed to be you were in a good position, not the best position, but a good position for the restart.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, could make some pressure on the Audi, but just not enough to overtake. But we knew we have a very strong crew in the pit stops, so we came as soon as we could come in, and this worked out perfectly. I think we have the fastest pit stop of the weekend, so I'm very, very proud of the whole team, and yeah, this fully deserved victory and a very good day for the championship standing for us.
Certainly was a very well deserved victory. And for yourself then, Bastien, you had to bring this one home. It's great for you in the championship, second win of the season in the sprint, not second overall in the season as well, so it's been a really, really good weekend.
Yes, I think this one is fully on the team. We just delivered what we have to, and we haven't had the easiest weekend. They got the car back into the state that we know as drivers for the last race of the weekend. Pit crew pulled an amazing pit stop, and this is basically the key for the victory.
Very humble. Go and celebrate. Go on, enjoy.
A 7th win in Sprint Cup for Ricardo Feller, a 2nd for Bastien Bus. You could argue they were helped by that red flag, bunching everybody up. You could argue they were also helped by the bad pit stop for Garage 59 as well. But, you know, they've had their own bad luck with power steering failures in other races. So today it's come right for them. What about James Kell and Arthur Rougier to win gold? Really good effort by both of them.
James Kell, Arthur Rougier, winners of the Gold Class Cup here in Magny-Cours today. First win of the season for you guys. You should be really glad about it.
Yeah, really thrilled. We had a tough weekend throughout, but the team kept pushing on, and we've come back with the win and on the Sunday, so really happy. But yeah, no, they did an amazing job. Amazing job.
Arthur, the aim was to take that win, but to score the best overall result of the season. That's done today.
Yeah, it's what I told you on the grid. Happy to see you here now close to the podium. So it's a really good result for the team. As James said, we had a tough weekend, really tough weekend so far. So it's just so nice to bounce back on Sunday.
Congrats, guys.
So well done, Arthur Rougier and James Kell. First victory of the season. They've had, as a team, a win, the Gachet Andriolo car. About a first win for James and Arthur Rougier. And in fairness to James Kell, a good defensive job as well to hang on against the pro cars. Now, what about silver? Brilliant effort by Mathis Lismont and Ignacio Montenegro. Win number 4.
The most emotion that we've seen here in the end of a race for some time. Talk us through the race from your point of view, Nacho, because it was a really masterful performance once again from the both of you.
Yeah, it was a difficult race for me, especially after the red flag. We knew that the strategy was there. We know that we are really strong in pit stop. But of course, all the pack was together, and I tried to manage to be quick and also to don't lose any position. P2 Silver was almost there also. So it was difficult for me, but then when Mathis jumped into the car, he was with not dirty, clean laps, just flying there, and he managed to finish P2 overall, P1 Silver, so I'm really happy.
It's good to see the emotion. Mathis, yourself in tears of joy. What a fantastic season you're having in sprint, you guys. 4 out of the last 5 races you've won. That is incredible.
Yeah, I mean, after last year, which was a bit difficult for me, this one is sorry for swearing, but this one feels amazing. I came out of the pits, I saw the live speed in front, and I saw the Ferrari and the Lambo behind. I was like, okay, what? We must have jumped some positions, but I didn't open the radio. I didn't want to know anything. I just wanted to drive. So I went out there, I drove to the best I could. It was only the last lap I knew, which we were P2 and P1 in silver, so it was just all from the heart, just pushing. Insane. Not much words right now. Quite emotional with this, but Nacho did a mega job at the start. Our pit stop was just fabulous. No fucking thing to say about it. Again, sorry about the swearing. So yeah, I have to let it sink in a bit. One of my best stints of my life at this point. So super happy with our job. Super happy with Nacho's job. Super happy with WRT.
Huge congratulations. We'll come with a beatbox next time. Apologies at home for all the swearing, but you can imagine the emotion. Well done, all of you. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, apologies for all of that, but exactly as Bryn says, lots of emotion from a very happy Mathis Lismont, and he will now make his way to the podium along with the other class winners. Now, Darren Lung and Augusto Farfus are our bronze class winners. Ganelle is with them, and hopefully she won't need a bleep box.
Darren, Augusto, happy Sunday for you guys with this first win of the season for you.
Yes, well, we started the year, I think, we came to the championship. It was my first time in the sprint. I'm really enjoying sharing time with Darren. I think we had a lot more performance already in Misano, which could not convert into victory, and this time to really win the race, it's something incredible. I wish I would have my family here. You know, I took pictures with the kids, and I have my wife, John and Vicky, at home. So, but I'm sure there will be minimal moments where they can enjoy the victory together.
Darren, that was not an easy race. Family's here to celebrate with you. That might be a great Sunday for you.
Yeah, no, I can't really get any better than this, to be honest. Yeah, it's been so nice to get back on the top step. It's a long time coming for the team, so I couldn't be happier.
Congrats. Thank you.
Well done, Darren Lung and Augusto Farfus. Yeah, it has been a long time coming. Very happy is Darren Lung, who, again, has done a massive amount of racing in a short space of time. British GT champion. He's raced in WEC as well as GT World. He's raced in the FIA Motorsport Games. You see a bit of damage on the right-hand side when he got turned around early on by the Ferrari. Augusto Farfus bringing it home. So the Magny-Cours circuit takes a breath before we have yet more racing, because there are still local races to come. And this is how we look in terms of the provisional race result. Bastian Buss and Ricardo Feller, the winners from Mathis Lismont and Ignacio Montenegro, the Silver Cup victors. Luca Engschler and Patrick Niederhauser's best yet for third, ahead of Thomas Neubauer and Arthur Leclerc. Simon Riker did a good job of hanging on to fifth after Christopher Hauser's good efforts in qualifying and stint one, with James Kell and Arthur Rougier winning winning gold, I should say, in sixth. Seventh, Dean McDonald and Marvin Kirchhofer from Jules Gounon and Danny Hunkadea. Max Hesse ninth with Valentino Rossi, Tommaso Mosca and Matthias Zagazzetta rounding out the top 10. Winning bronze, as we've been saying, to Darren Lung, Augusto Farfus there. BMW a little bit further down the order, but of course those bronze cars having by regulation to make the longer, slower pit stops. But in the end, 23rd, Augusto Farfus and Darren Lung, and a race with quite a few hard luck stories. You've got to feel